the home of sim racing leagues. Our management tools allow you to recruit drivers and monitor their ratings and live splits. Find this and more at GridFinder.com. Sign up for free today.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the World Online Racing YouTube channel for round number 7 of this PC Tier 1 season. Coming back from the break week, we are headed to one of the most iconic circuits on the Formula 1 calendar, known for its high-speed corners and its great elevation change. It is, of course, the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in the Ardennes Forest. Beautiful track, scenic views everywhere you go, and it's going to make for a cracking race tonight. My name is Dan Field. Once again, I'm being joined by Nathan Richards. Nathan, how you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing brilliant. Welcome in everybody. I think tonight's going to be quite a good race. I think Belgium, it's one of those tracks. It's an iconic track. It's it's one of the tracks of motorsport. So I think either way, I think we've got a really good lineup ahead of us as well with the grid. So yeah, I can't see why this race wouldn't go perfectly tonight.
Absolutely, should be a sensational race coming up ahead. We're waiting for everyone to get into the lobby now, but we're going to quickly have a look at the results from last week. That elusive victory that has been teasing Jan Ortmeier throughout this entire season finally came his way in Brazil and was a Mercedes 1-2 for Jarno and Jake Benham. Ismail Fassi, after a penalty going to the way of Thomas Ronhaar, he is elevated into third position, keeping that gap a little bit wider than it would be at the top of the championship. And Shanika Clay, a good performance from him in fourth position. Fifth was Alvaro Caraton, and then of course Thomas Ronhaar being relegated from third all the way down into sixth. Alfie Butcher ending up in seventh. Eighth was Kai Pearson, and then rounding at the top 10 is Luke Smith and Daniel Shelson. And of course, with Ismail Fassi being able to get onto the podium, he's able to keep that championship gap at a slighter greater distance. He's still at the top of the championship order with 85 points ahead of Jarno Ortmeier by only 6 points this evening. Of course, Jarno Ortmeier as well for the last 3 races has actually outscored Ishmael, who's been struggling ever since his win in USA. Otis Lawrence, I believe it was USA if I'm not mistaken, do correct me if I'm wrong. Otis Lawrence, of course, with his 2 victories on the cars this season, he sits third on 50, and then Nicholas Longue, absent tonight, is fourth on 47. Dylan Warren, he's had a cracking season, he's fifth on 42. Then Joseph Loke, still yet to score since his initial burst onto the scene in the first 2 rounds, sits sixth, level with Duncan Hoffland in seventh, who has yet to score since that podium just 3 races ago. Shanika Clay in 8th position on 33 points, Alvaro Carrot on 9th on 30, and then Jake Benham with his first podium of the season rounds out the top 10 on 28 points. So Nathan, coming into this race here this evening, it is looking like the championship fight getting closer and closer with every single race. Jarno Ortmeier is doing a sensational job of catching up to Ismail Fassi.
Yeah, he's indeed. I think the championship is, it's closer up, but then also you got the battles for third and fourth between Otis and Nicholas, and further down you got lots of Dylan and Well, obviously Joseph Phillips racing with us this season, but you got Duncan, Shanaka, Alvaro all in their little battles over that top 5. So I think either way, the battles between the whole grid are going to be great, and there's always something to play for every driver. Obviously, we got the likes of Tygo Hardy, Declan Barrett, Jan Hade, and Tom Manley making their first appearances this season tonight. So yeah, there's still a lot of unknowns, I think, as well, with some drivers that are taking place on this grid.
Yep, absolutely. Should be a very fun one coming up into Belgium. Of course, the longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar, sitting at just over 7 kilometers in total distance. Nathan, there's one fact I absolutely love about this circuit. It's that at the very peak at Malmedy corner, I believe it is, in the second sector, to the very bottom of the circuit, the altitude distance is about the size, I think, the size of Big Ben. In London, which it doesn't seem real considering how it's just a racetrack, but it's incredible how this circuit moves with the land. It doesn't cut through it or anything. It is a beautiful circuit, one of the gems on the Formula 1 calendar in my opinion, and it is one of the most well-known. Drivers seem to do very well around here. I know what that was just for, Nathan. I'll bring us over to the game scene now, and you can see we got rain.
Wow, that makes it a lot more interesting going into qualifying. And the question is, does it stay wet or does it go dry? If it goes dry, we could be in for quite an eventful Q1. If it stays wet, then it could still be quite eventful because the track will still have changes. But yeah, I think this track's quite difficult to drive either way. So now with it being wet, it makes it a little bit more of a beast. So we'll see if drivers have practiced in the wet. They don't normally, but we'll see if any of that possible wet practice come into play.
And just having a look at the tyre compounds, you can see everyone is on the wet tyre, aside from Declan Barrett making his debut this season. It's only his second race here in WORPC Tier 1. See how he's able to get on. Historically, he has been pretty good around this circuit. Third here in Season 14 Console Tier 1. Then he won here, actually, in his title campaign, which was in Season 13 on the Xbox side of things. So, good circuit for Declan Barrett to make his debut here this evening. We're also seeing the debut of Tom Manley, Tycho Hardy as well. I think there's one other driver that you mentioned, Nathan. The name has slipped out of my mind, but this is a very talented, very strong grid here that we have this evening. We're very excited to see how they get on.
It is indeed, and I think, we see a lot of people in here that are, development drivers for different esports teams. It's good for them to kind of get their footing with some of these, top-level Pro Series drivers and, make their way for possibly next season or the season after esports, getting themselves into one of those seats themselves. You can see nearly half the grid is people in those development teams, so it's great to see them, perform live here in the highest grid in sim racing to see what they can do, and hopefully we can get people starting to go out soon because they're still in the pits. So we've been in here 2 minutes and yeah, still no one moving at all in the pit lane. So hopefully one of them just goes out for the sake of having a bit of airtime here on stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute ghost town out on circuit. I'll take away the timing tower so you can actually see the length of the pit lane. There is no activity whatsoever. The engineers, when they come out to signal that the track is clear, they need an umbrella or something because it is torrential rain that we are seeing. And I'm just wondering if maybe the drivers are holding off on coming out on circuit due to the fact that it possibly could be drying up at some point in the near future. We'll have to wait and see, but for now, with 15 minutes and a half to go, we're just waiting to see who is first to pull the trigger and come out on circuit. Very quiet at the minute here. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the stream thus far, and Nathan, I guess we just got to bear with these drivers. I see some activity down at the bottom of the pit lane. Is that one of the Williams drivers? I believe it is Kian Gondorp.
Indeed, and I've noticed as well a few more drivers switching onto those intersets in the pits, like Sayano, Reese, Philip and Shanaka, but Declan swapped back onto the wet tyres, it seems, in the pits, so drivers are a bit indecisive what to do in terms of going out on the circuit, but Keane's going to be the first out on a set of the wet tyres. We'll see what he can do in the first part of this session. I believe this is also I think this might be his second appearance here in WRT1. Didn't score any points last time he was here, so we'll see if he can get some here tonight as he heads down towards Lake Common. You can see the track is just sodden wet. These curbs as well being absolute pain. There's curbs and paint all over this circuit, so it's going to make it very difficult for the drivers to get some grip in those parts of the circuit, especially when you normally want to ride out onto a curb. You can't really do that as much when the track is like this. You can see, obviously, drivers will be taking a bit of a wide line as well, and they're laps in towards this section here, in towards Brussels, and in towards Speaker's Corner, or otherwise known as No Name. Yet again, you don't want to touch that curb on the inside, as the car will absolutely flip round. So yes, it's going to be very treacherous. As also Declan Barrett has made his choice to go out onto track, along with one of the Alfa Romeos, which I believe is No, it's not. It'll be Jan Halliday, not Thomas Ronald. So Jan is well making his first appearance. We'll see what he can do here tonight in WRT 1.
Jan Halliday, that was the name that I missed out there. Tamas Gal has also come out on to the circuit. We'll have a look at the AlphaTauri drivers. He makes a climb up Eau Rouge and Radion, some of the most iconic two corners on the Formula 1 calendar, completely flat through there. I wonder if we're going to see any side-by-side action come race time. Of course, we've got to get through all of Q1, Q2 and Q3 until we get to see all the cars battling it out for position on circuit. Tamas Gal struggling at this moment in time in this season. He's never scored points at Belgium before in WOR, and of course he's not scored since round number 3, so it's been a tough year, or a tough season for Tamas Gal. Well, I guess you can actually say tough year because 2024 has only just started, but it's been a tough season for Tamas Gal in terms of the World Online Racing. But other than that, maybe today could be the day where he breaks that deadlock. We'll have to wait and see as Keen Gondorp gets his lap underway.
Yeah, we'll see what Keen can do on this opening lap here at Belgium. We'll get up the lap data on our screen as well as he heads up towards Eau Rouge and Radion very shortly. A couple cars just connect behind him to also begin an 8-lap in this session. You can see just throwing it up the hill can't be as flat out as you normally would be through that section of the circuit as you now head down where you would normally get a bit DRS. Then the Kemmel straight in towards the chicane at Les Combes. We'll see what Keen can do in his first set. It will be a 32.7 for the first one in this session as he heads through the chicane, navigating the car through in these horrible wet conditions, just trying to fight the car through the corners. He heads in towards Malmedy, highest part of the circuit, down towards one of the lowest parts of the circuit, staying in Bruxelles as he heads down to there. Yet again, you can see tugging it to that inside line, trying to ride one on the exit. He prepares himself for Speaker's Corner, big slide down the rear as he heads through, try not to touch that inside curb, rides a curb on the exit as he heads down in towards P1, otherwise known as Double Gauge, just yet again throwing the car in, touched that curb a little bit too much and it rode the car a little bit wide as he goes into the entry, but he hooks it around the outside as he heads down in towards the Lefania chicane. We'll see what he can do in towards here. Just touching that curb there on the inside to pull the car around, using a bit of rotation there with the curbs as he heads down towards the next apex, down in towards Stavelo shortly. You can see yet again just trying to fight with the car. Can't be too hard on the throttle as he comes through. 24.6 is a split. And so far then you can see the cars are struggling, but I think it shortly should be starting to get dry. It looks like it at least. The rain doesn't look as heavy as it was 6 minutes ago.
Yeah, it seems like the rain is beginning to lighten up ever so slightly. That is maybe why we're seeing so few drivers actually out on circuit in the initial parts of this qualifying session, but more are coming out of the pit lane. We will see then Keen Gondorp come through the final corners at the bus stop chicane. He's wrestled the car throughout the entirety of this lap, but to lay down the banker, it's a 1 minute 56.097, a decent time considering these are considered to be wet conditions. So I wonder if that is actually an indicator of the intermediate tyres becoming the preferred tyre to be on. And you can see as you look at the timing screen on the side, Reese Linton and Kai Pearson, both of them out on circuit on a set of the intermediate tyres. So I think now is the time to come into the pit lane and possibly fit on a set of the green wall tyre. You can see on the timing tower as well, Declan Barrett has come into the pit lane. He was the second driver out on circuit but has decided to not complete that lap. It's only Keen Gondorp with a time on the board at the moment. However, there's still a few more drivers left out on track, one of those being Tamas Gal, who like Keen Gondorp is having to wrestle the car through Stavelot there. Now on towards Blanchimont corner. I believe this is the fast left-hander. Normally would be completely flat out in the dry conditions, but Tamas Gal really is having to lift off ever so slightly. And yeah, I think it's best for him to come into the pit lane here, as is many other drivers on this grid. Come out on a set of the intermediates. Then Nathan should be a lot quicker.
Yeah, he's going to actually complete the lap. You can see he'll set a 1 minute 54.5. That's a second and a half quicker nearly than Keen Gondorp. So yeah, the track's definitely getting a little bit drier, and he's continued on those set of inters. Or on those set of wet. Sorry, you can see Ben Shabakonya come through as well. Does he complete the lap? Yes, he does. He'll come through to cross the line. What will it be for the Haas driver as he heads across the line? Goes up into second place there with a 54.946, with a few drivers still coming through. He got Ishmael Fassi, purple in the first set, right on board with the Williams as he comes through in towards Malmedy. You can still see fighting the car, but the rain definitely does look like it's getting a little bit lighter down as he heads down in towards Bruxelles at turn number 8, just tucking it to the inside. And yeah, I think the conditions are getting better. The rain's pretty much stopped at some parts of the circuit, it seems, and you can see that's why we've got more and more people coming out the pits onto a set of inters. Not many people on 8 laps on the wets. We've got Jake Benham, who's come out onto a set of wets, and set of wets. Everyone else who's come out is on a set of intermediate tyres. So they're not with the mojo of everyone else. So we'll see if that can work out for him, if it will not work out with him. His teammate, Jono Uppbeat, is out on a set of inters, as we can follow Ishmael through in towards the Lafania chicane, down in towards Stavalo shortly. We'll see what he can do as he heads in towards here. Will it be quicker than the time of Tamas Gal in that middle set to split? It'll be a 1 minute 22.9, so just a little bit quicker than what Tamas Gal did. He did a 1:23.1 in that split as he heads down out in towards Blanchemont, as Dan said earlier. Normally flat out, in these conditions it's not, and to be fair, here it literally looks like there's no whatsoever coming onto the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. As Ismail Fassi will take to the bus stop chicane to complete this lap. Will he keep it left or drift off towards the right and come back into the pit lane? It's going to be the former. See what Ismail Fassi can do. Unmarked territory is Belgium in WOR for the young Spanish driver. He'll come across the line with a 54.13 for the quickest time that we've seen on the board yet to race here in WOR at Belgium. So, as I said previously, new territory for Ismail Fassi. Will that be a helping hand to him or be his undoing this evening? We'll have to wait and see. Coming up later on tonight, we'll have a look, see if we can find anyone else on a run. It seems like most drivers on out laps at the minute, but there are still a few drivers who are on some timed laps at this point. Shanika Clay is coming through the final couple of corners to begin a lap. Istvan Pukki has just begun his run as well. Istvan really has struggled to keep up with that form that we've come to expect of him so far in this season. Lots of DNFs. He's crashed out of the last four of the last 5 races. He's yet to score points this season. Ismail Fassi, Nathan, gotta say, Istvan Pukki, gotta say, has been very disappointing.
Yeah, it's disappointing for him, isn't it, indeed? And I think as well, sometimes you have a bad start and you're heading to pits and retire. I think once you have that bit of bad luck, it's like, oh, that's it, I can't be bothered to continue. And I suppose sometimes that isn't good, but also I suppose if if he's at the back, there's no point continuing, I suppose, in his defence. So yeah, it is a big shame for him, and hopefully some luck can come towards his way as the season continues. We've got Kai Pearson setting the first lap on the Inters. It will be at the top there, 53.779. He was actually slower than Ishmael in the second set, but caught it back in the final. As you can see, Jan Hardeno going quicker, so the 52.8, nearly a second quicker than Kai Pearson's time. So the track definitely looking like it's becoming dry, but that might be, is it Jono Uppbeat coming through? No, it'll be Jake Bennett. Pops into P6 there with a 55.0 on the set of wets, and Duncan Hoffman now goes fastest by half a second to Jan Herdijk with a 0.347. We've got a few more cars coming through. I believe that might be one of the Williamses. That'll be Ishmael Fassi. He's heading back into the pits to hopefully pop on a set of intermediate tyres. As we have one of the Ferraris coming through, that will be Istvan Pukki, Dan, just heading down towards Curve de Paul Frere.
And he's looking very quick on this run. Quickest in the second sector, so it seems like the track conditions are getting a lot better as this session goes on, and that means that timing is going to be all important come the very end of this session. The case could be that if you're the last man across the line, you're going to have the best chance of getting out of Q1, so you've got to time your run absolutely perfectly as this Istvan Pukki comes now through the final corner. We'll see what the Ferrari Esports driver can do as he crosses the line now, and it's going to be second fastest, 4/10 off the back of Duncan Hoffland, who's struggled in recent weeks to keep up with that pace that he started with at the beginning of the season. But if his qualifying continues the way that it has done so far this evening, Duncan Hoffland should be in a good position. Otis Lawrence is a name which is really becoming a household figure here in WOR. 2 wins already this season. DNF'd in the last race at Brazil. He'll come across the line. That's a 52 flat for Otis Lawrence. Ever so quick in qualifying. We'll see if that will translate to good race pace later on.
Indeed, we've got Jono Uppbeat coming through in towards the final few corners. Last week's race winner in Brazil. We'll see what he can do here at the start of Q1 as he comes through towards the line. What will it be for him? We'll be up into second there, just a little bit quicker than Thomas Ronhaber, and only 5,000 separating him and Otis Lawrence after that first part of qualifying. So very close between the top two in the track. Definitely getting dry. Jake Benham, I think he's coming through to head back into the pits. We got Tamas Gal and Ben Shabakoni obviously set their first laps on the wets. They're coming out on the Inters. They'll be starting their laps very shortly, and soon we'll probably see those 15th down also getting back onto track to set lap times. Some of them haven't been out at all. Some of them did go out but came in after their initial runs. I know Declan Barrett was on a run, but he also headed back into pits. He was just behind his teammate Otis Lawrence, who currently sits at the top with a 1 minute 52.082 going through in towards Q2. And the lovely thing, isn't it, Dan, about the rain is we ain't going to have people retiring at the end of the session, because the chances are the track's going to improve quite a lot. So we're actually going to have probably all 20 out on the circuit with the last 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, the rain is very light at the minute as Ben Abercrombie begins his run. I've just seen someone ask why crossplay is on. I think I've actually had that on for weeks and I've just not realised it. So I do apologise there. I've not streamed in a while here in WOR. So next time I'll get that off, or I can... apparently Thomas has actually left it on, so it's not my fault there. I thought having crossplay enabled would enable that little Steam logo on the side, but nevertheless, following along with Ben Abercrombie on his run, just one podium here in WOR. Nathan, that was in season 13 here at this very circuit, so today could be the day that Ben Abercrombie finally scores some points. Of course, he was able to score points in round number 1, but since then it's been a very dry patch for Ben Abercrombie. Pretty much the opposite of what we're seeing here on circuit today as he continues to run downhill in towards P1. Looked very quick in the first sector, but of course he's not getting the best track conditions as he lays down rubber, and as more drivers come out onto the circuit, the track is going to get better and better. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his first of a second run that we're going to see in qualifying. We'll have to wait and see then as he heads through the final, in towards sector 3. He's up by 2.3 seconds, so big improvements for Ben Abercrombie, but is that going to be enough to get himself out of this session?
We'll see what he can do as he comes through now towards Blanchimont. Obviously, got Tamashkal sitting just behind him, so we'll keep on board with the hash just for now as he comes through in towards Blanchimont corner. Obviously, he was up by over 2 seconds in that middle set, so that's a key improvement for him at the start, or I suppose at the end of this session here in Q1. Obviously, wants to keep himself out of that bottom 5. Going in towards Q2 to get himself a spot there. Obviously wants to be looking for points tonight. Will definitely be very good if he can get himself towards the top at Q1. To the line, goes quickest there with a 51.773. The track is getting dry. What can Tamash Gal do? Can he go quicker? To the line, he will go to the top there by 5/10 separates him and Ben Abercrombie. So the track is drawn up very quickly. Everyone needs to be able to get laps if they can, because if you're in first now, you could end up being in the bottom 5 by the end of the session because the track is getting drier. It seems like by half a second every lap that is being set. We've got everyone now on track getting ready to begin runs. We've got Declan Barrett along with, I believe it'll be Jana Ottmere and Jake Benham as well coming through to begin there, or getting ready to begin their final runs of the session. And Jake Benham pretty much stopped as they come through towards the chicane, letting a few drivers through, wanting to get the best of the track conditions as he can. Obviously, Declan Barrett will be the first to set his lap. He could end up being in the worst position coming the end of the session because everyone behind him will get the better track conditions at the back of the train. It will be Otis Lawrence, so we'll see what he can do. He's along with Jana Ottmere, just coming down the Kemmel Straight. They're going to be very, it's going to be very handy for them coming towards the end of the session as they will get the best track conditions possible. The rain, it's looking like it's stable where it is, but you can see the track getting dry, obviously more rubber being laid down on the circuit, more heat being laid down to the circuit as well. So I think Demi got a very enthralling final couple of minutes here in qualifying, and I don't think you can call at all who could be going out here.
Absolutely, it is well, sorry, I'm losing my words. I mean, it's really completely unpredictable. We still haven't seen lap times from the bottom 6 drivers. So are any of those guys going to be able to best what we've seen thus far in this session? The slowest times that we've seen at the minute from Kian Gondorp, Jake Benham, Ishmael Fassi, Kai Pearson and Jack West. So those guys really do have to pull their finger out on their runs. We've been watching Jake Benham on his outlap, and you've seen how slow he's been going, and he's been on the brake for that entire time. So he's been burning off fuel as he's gone around this outlap, meaning he's laying everything into this one run and trying as hard as he can to get as little fuel in the car so he is as quick as possible. Let's watch the season 11 champion Jake Benham at work here. Second place, got his first podium last time out in Brazil. Is he going to make it 2 for 2 podiums in the last couple of races? We will have to wait and see. And of course, season 14, he actually took victory around this circuit, so it's very clear to see Jake Benham is well versed around this track. Up by 7/10 in the first sector, now in towards the very technical second part of this lap. Locking up will be very difficult in this next right-hander. You can just ride on board with Jake Benham here. You heard that slight squeak from the pedal as he locked up now in towards No Name corner. Very easy to invalidate off the exit of that turn, but he's done very nicely to avoid it. Now in towards Puon, which in these modern day Formula 1 cars you could take with such great amounts of speed. The downforce on these cars is immense as Jake Benham, he rides up the curb ever so slightly, slightly dissettling his car, but it shouldn't phase him all too much. We'll cut away from Jake Benham once he hits the third sector. We'll see the improvement that he is on right now. I'd imagine it's going to be seconds up. Yeah, almost 3 seconds on what he's done thus far. Let's have a look at Declan Barrett, though. He's the first man to cross the line without a time on the board at the minute. What is it going to be for the McLaren Shadow driver? He'll go to the top of the order with a 50.396, but will he stay there for very long? We'll have to wait and see. Tom Manley could only muster up a second best time. Now Jake Benham, the driver at risk, in 15th position, will come through the final corner at the bus stop chicane. We'll see what time it is going to be for our former champion here in WOR. A disappointing 50.9 from him. A few more drivers in the final sector. Let's have a look at the Alfa Romeo of Thomas Ronhar. More cars come through the final few corners. Reese Linton has now gone to the top of the order. Duncan Offland nestles himself into 5th, displaced immediately by Kai Pearson, Thomas Ronhar's teammate for the evening. Jan Halliday goes second fastest. Andre Tarabukin, a great lap from him. The first sub 1 minute 50 of the day coming out from Shanika Clay. A beautiful time from him there. Let's see what Thomas Ronhar can do in the drop zone at the moment to come across the line. Is it going to be quickest of them all? Indeed it will be. A 49.658 beautiful lap coming out there from Thomas Ronhar to go quickest in Q1, and by a good few tenths as well. So fantastic stuff from Thomas. Let's have a look at who got eliminated in this session. It is Kai Pearson, Philip Prejnader, Tycho Hardy, Duncan Hoffland, and Jake Benham. Nathan, you've got to say, Jake Benham being eliminated by 1.3 seconds to Thomas Ronhar. That is a big loss in qualifying here.
It is, yeah. Obviously, he finished second back in Brazil. He's been showing some decent pace, and now he's going to be starting this race all the way back from 20th. And I think, obviously his lap wasn't the cleanest. I was on board with him. He didn't have the best lap, but as well, he was in some of the worst conditions. He was the third one set in a lap. That definitely probably lost him, I'd say, probably over half a second on that run. So a big shame for him, along with also Duncan Hoffland, who's also been performing quite well this season. He'll be starting in P9. So he was 8 tenths back off the fastest time. But then again, coming out of that Q1 session, you can't really predict who's going to be out because the track is changing that much, and we can see it's a little bit wet, but there's no rain. So I think we'll start off inters and we'll probably move on to a set of dries as the session comes through. And also, just to say as well, in the chat, we've been notified that we've just hit 19,000 subscribers on the chat. So thank you everyone for all the support to get us to that 19,000 now. Only 1,000 away from that 5th of a century at 20,000 subscribers. So if you can, or you haven't already subscribed, do that now and try and get us to 20,000 subscribers.
Yep, as I used to say all the time, it's the big red button beneath your screen. But unfortunately, I think it's not red anymore. So YouTube have kind of spoiled that from me. So maybe I'll make it my own plugin or something and then bring back the red subscribe button. But thank you everyone so much for the support that you give to WOR. Now we are so close to that big 20, and the growth is paramount. I mean, it's just incredible to see how much WOR has grown in the last year. So thank you to everyone who is tuning in here this evening. We've got 874 people currently watching. We'll engage with some of you in a few moments time. Thank you to all of you who have decided to spend your Sunday nights watching two British guys screaming over some pretend cars. So I'll bring us back over to the game scene. Now you can see no one has decided to come out on circuit for the time being, but you are right, Nathan, no rain is to be expected, and I'm wondering the reason that we're seeing no one out on circuit is because they're just waiting for the track to dry.
Yeah, but you can see a few of them on the soft tops in the pits. There's only 5 of them on the set of inters. The rest of them are already on a set of softs, so they're going to be waiting to go out on a set of softs. And well, we know this game and we know the weather. It's a little bit weird. You can be starting a lap and it can be wet. At the end of the lap, it is bone dry. So, I think, yeah, the weather's a little bit unrealistic in terms of how quick the track dries up. So if you go out on a set of softs, by the time you get the end of your lap, it probably will be good enough to to run them comfortably. So we'll see what the drivers choose to do. I think we'll probably have 1 or 2 try a set of inters to see what happens, and most of them will go out on a set of softs depending on when they do go out. And DRS have been enabled, so that pretty much clears up the fact it is the soft tires, which are the quickest tyre now. Only 3 people left on the inters in the pits, so they'll all be quickly switching over to a set of softs to get underway with this Q2 session. Obviously, with Q1, they've kind of saved themselves all a set of soft tyres. I mean, they can throw a bit more at it. If they make mistakes in this session, they can maybe use 2 or 3 runs instead of, having to be a bit careful going into Q3, because then they'd lose a set of tyres if they have to use more in Q1 and Q2. So this is definitely good for those drivers who would normally be a little bit more struggling in qualifying. And yeah, maybe this session will be a little bit more predictable than what we saw in Q1 with the track hopefully being dry by the end.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what kind of conditions that we get. You are absolutely right. They are so unpredictable on this F1 23 game, but judging by the fact we've seen no one decide to come out on circuit for the time being, that just tells me that it's going to get drier and drier as this session goes on. And I did see that comment in the live chat of who is your favourite driver, and I was actually thinking, Nathan, whilst you were talking there, that he's not on the grid, and it is Will Lewis when he turns up, but that wasn't actually me that typed that one out there, so very funny. But I think we'll take that question and we'll morph it into our own. Nathan, now that we've seen Q1 come and go, who do you think is going to be taking pole position here this evening?
Oh, Dan, it's a bit too early, isn't it, for pole? We're only in Q2. I don't know. In terms of qualifying pace, I'm going to go with Tamashkel. I think he's had pole multiple times this season. We know he's quick, so I'm just banking off the fact he's been quick before. But yeah, going into this, I don't have a clue. So yeah, we'll go with Tamashkel, and we'll see if I've got luck, or if we'll end up commentating cursing him, because it's possible. It's very possible. There's actually, we've got a bit of movement. Out of the pits, that'll be Jan Hurday.
Yep, Jan Halliday, the first one to break cover and come out onto the circuit, and now is a good time to interact with our viewers in the live chat. We pride ourselves on being the world online racing league, and of course that comes with having fans all over the globe. I like to do this every single time I'm here in WOR. I want to know where in the world you are watching from. Myself and Nathan currently watching Belgium, but we're both living in very shady United Kingdom, although I think it was a pretty nice day today, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you know what, good day to be a Brit. We've got Ernie Alexopoulos saying he's from South Africa. 2 Germans in a row, Ishmael Keksa and Yatin Panguro. Hopefully I've got those names right. Piotr says Poland. Unfortunately, I'm not going to try and pronounce that last name. We've got Alkan from Bahrain in the Middle East. Netherlands says Bosco sounds. Russia, unfortunately I don't know how to say that name. I don't speak the language. Amsterdam, that's in the Netherlands as well. Italy, Uzbekistan, wow. Hamburg, Germany, UK, unfortunately. Someone's watching from Malaysia. Nathan, it's 3:30 in Malaysia, and they're spending their Sunday evening. You've probably got school or work in the morning, and you're watching WOR. So once this race is over, please do get to bed. But Nathan, just looking at how many different countries we are seeing all over the world, just tuning in to WOR, no matter the time zone, is brilliant to see.
It is. It's brilliant to see everyone from all over the world taking part. I saw someone at the top saying it's all shady in Birmingham. I can tell you. Yes, I can tell you that it's not very nice up here. But yeah, so I don't like to say I'm from Birmingham, because it's not a very nice place at all. But people in here are from very nice places around the world. We've got Germany, Bulgaria. Someone saying, "Am I the only Italian?" I'm sure you're not the only Italian. Surely not. As we've got Indonesia, and yeah, it's always beautiful to see people from around different parts of the world. And also, big hats off to people that are sitting here watching us at 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. It does mean a lot, because I can tell you for a fact I would not be awake at that time watching league racing. So yes, thank you very much. It does mean a lot when you spend some of that valuable time here watching this league. Obviously, we've got just under 1,000 views, it says on my screen here. So thank you all for tuning in to what should be an enthralling Q2, Q3 and 50% race. We've got our first laps just beginning now with Jan Hurday just exiting the final corner, Dan.
Yeah, Nathan, if it was 2:30 in the morning, I wouldn't want to spend it listening to myself and you commentate over some pretend Formula 1 cars. So big hats off to everyone watching from wherever you are in the world, as Jan Halliday gets the first off lap underway. Already you can tell the conditions aren't at their best, as he slid his way through that very first corner, but climbing up the hill and towards Eau Rouge and Radion, no lift to be seen for Jan Halliday. That shows signs of confidence in these interchangeable conditions. Now opening up the DRSC, trumps down the Kemmel Straight, one of the quickest straights in Formula 1, 340 kilometers per hour at the braking zone for Jan Halliday. Brilliant speeds that we've just seen come out from him there. It is actually completely flat from turn number 1 all the way down the Kemmel Straight and in towards that chicane Les Combes, of course it is known as. And then, of course, all that speed is met by the second sector. Very technical through here as he approaches Puon corner. This very fast left-hander, one of my favourites to absolutely hook up perfectly. Jan Halliday looking very confident on this lap thus far as he heads now in towards the Lafanya chicane. A beautiful little S's section, very underrated on this Belgium circuit. I very much do enjoy heading through there, but at the minute we'll see the benchmark as he reaches the second sector, 14.0. That could be a lot quicker, but Nathan, judging by the fact that we are still drying out on the circuit here, it's looking decent for Jan Halliday.
Yeah, definitely. I think also the track, even though if it's dry, it'll still be a little bit more cold. So, you know, the tyres are going to be struggling a little bit more. So this is why these first runs probably aren't going to be the most quickest at all. As we can see Jan come through in towards the bus stop chicane. We'll see what he can do as he exits final corner up towards the line. What will it be for Jan Halliday? At 1 minute 42.2. That's the lap times I set, so I know for a fact the track definitely isn't where it should be. As we can also see, one of the AlphaTauris, that'll be Tom Manley, or I should say the Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team car. He's unfortunately invalidated the lap as he comes through. Now, Dan, I want to hear your thoughts on that team name.
Oh, I think you've heard it from me there. Just ugh. I'll do my best to try and keep calling it AlphaTauri for as long as I can. But I said this on PSGL. If it were up to me, I'd keep Toro Rosso forever.
Definitely.
But such is life. Reese Linton is on a lap at the minute, and he's 9/10 quicker than Jan Halliday. So it seems like Jan must have made a mistake somewhere along in that first or second sector. It might have been turn number 1 as Reese Linton comes across the line. That is much more like it. It's 41.237. King Gondorp next across the line with a 41.4. Decent enough start to the second part of this session. Let's have a look at Istvan Pukki, struggling at the minute in this season, but Belgium could be the turning point for him this evening. He hasn't scored around this circuit since season 13, but that's not going to phase him in qualifying. So we see the first 1 minute 40 of the session.
Yep, 140.8 there. A nice lap time from Istvan Pukki. Tomasz Gál there, 10th back with a .929. In second place, we've got Ron Har coming through along with the two McLarens. One of them doesn't set a lap time. Otis Lawrence will, with a 1 minute 40.696. Ron Har goes to top with a 1 minute 40.594. The track is getting better every single lap. Shanika Clay matching the time there with Otis Lawrence with a .696. Brilliant there from those two. Got a few cars left to come through. Jana Watme, what can he set as he comes through towards the line? Goes second there with a 597. 3,000 separating Thomas and Jana going in towards the end of Q2. And Dan, these times are scarily close. We can see that first and second separated by 3,000s, third and fourth, exact same time as I think we have Tom Manley coming through. He's going to be heading back into pits along with Declan Barrett, unless he's invalidated, then it's set to 1. So obviously unfortunate there for the bottom 5 at the moment. But yes, now I'm starting to think Jan Halliday's time must have been a mistake because everyone else went frighteningly quicker. But yeah, the track's getting better and better. All I know is that in Q3, the best times we normally see are around, I think, like the 39.9s to 39.8. So still a little bit far off what we normally see at the end of Q3. But first of all, we are in Q2, so the track definitely isn't what it should be once we get to the end of the part of qualifying 3. But at the moment, it's Key and Jack, Jan, Tom and Declan in the drop zone, and 3 of those making their first appearances here tonight.
Yeah, it's been a difficult start for them this evening. Jan Halliday, Tom Manley and Declan Barrett, actually all of them are the bottom 3 at this point in time. Jan Halliday is going to need to definitely improve on that lap. He's already in the bottom 5. And then Tom Manley, Declan Barrett, they must have had invalidations. But looking to the top of the order, it's one big Alfa Romeo sandwich if you're just counting laps that have been completed. It's Thomas Ronhaar at the very top of the order with just under 4.5 minutes left to go. Thomas Ronhaar yet to score a podium here this season. Of course, only racing twice so far, but today could be the day that he takes his first podium of the season. He's very familiar with the podiums here at Belgium. Season 14, which was of course his title campaign back on F1 22, I believe it was. He ended up 3rd in this race, so it's a good track for Thomas Ronhaar. He'll come back into the pit lane, topping Q1, now currently topping Q2. It's all looking good for the Dutchman.
It is indeed, and we'll see what happens at the end of this qualifying 2 session. But I think yet again, obviously with the track getting better and better, and you can see a little bit more sunshine coming through the clouds, I think we'll probably have everyone back out again to begin the final runs in Q2. So yet again, anyone could go out in this session. And yeah, I think, you look at the gaps we're seeing those there, 6 down to P10. They're very close to the drop zone. Well, Tamas Gál's not close to the drop zone, and Andreas Harbikin is, but there's only 2.5-ish tenths separating those 4 guys. So yes, it's very close going in towards the final runs. We can see one of the Ferraris heading out. That'll be Istvan Pukki, along with one of the AlphaTauris. I believe that might be Tom Manley heading out onto circuit. They'll be the first to take to the track for the final runs, qualifying 2. And Yeah, let us know in the chat, anyone. Do you have any predictions of who we could see out? It's a bit of a weird question to ask. It's not a very nice one to ask, but let us know in the chat who you think we could see end up, unfortunately, heading out of Q2.
It's a tough question. I mean, there's not many drivers I can really see going out of this session. It really is just a question of who is going to be able to make a surprise appearance at the top of the order. We'll have to wait and see. One man that I would love to see get out of this session is Tom Manley. Of course, he's been very experienced at here in WOR, second place in Season 13 PC Tier 1 Belgian Grand Prix, and of course in his Season 12 Xbox title campaign he was able to take victory around this circuit. So it's a good track for Tom Manley, making his PC Tier 1 debut here this evening, but he's really not captured his form that he's seen since Season 13, I believe it was, where he was well and truly in that title fight. He's scoring podiums week in, week out. Tom Manley has yet to recapture that form here in Tier 1, so hopefully tonight can be the turning point for Tom Manley. As Nathan having a look at the circuit, the sun is well and truly out now. That means it's going to be a lot easier for these drivers to heat up the tyres, and so we shouldn't see too much shenanigans going along on the formation lap, on the out lap here this evening, as Tom Manley will be the first one to get us on a run here.
Yeah, the track will be getting towards more of an optimum stage at the moment. As you can see, everyone all following through in that middle set. We've got groups of cars, groups of 3, 4 cars all sitting together trying to follow each other through, not trying to cause incidents and get past each other, so they're just following each other down towards what shortly will be Stavelo, and obviously the curve to Paul Frere at the final parts of that second sector. Tom Manley coming through in towards the final couple of corners now with his teammate Tamas Gal sitting right behind him as they head into the final corner. I believe these two are 2 reserves as well for the AlphaTauri team, so we'll see what they can do in these cars tonight. You can see Tom Manley there getting a wide exit out of the chicane to get a good run down towards someone to begin his final lap, and the first final lap of the Q2 session in towards turn 1 at La Source, breaking late around that 100 metre. We'll throw the car inside, twitch that apex, run wide on the exit, try not to go too wide, otherwise you'll hit that orange curb, and that is the last place you want to hit on the exit of turn 1 now. Flying down towards Eau Rouge, very close to the wall on the outside line as he comes through and out, flat out up this whole section. Then he'll get some DRS shortly to head him down the Kemmel Straight in towards Les Combes. We'll see what his first sets will be. We'll see what speed he can hit in this high speed straight. It'll be 339, 340. It'll be 342, the max there from Tom Manley, the 29.8 for the first sector as he heads through in towards chicane, now heading up in towards Malmary, then in towards Bruxelles at the downhill right-hander. Very easy place to lock up the tyres and go straight, and he takes it through nicely there as he feeds the car through, then gets back on the power as he heads in towards No Name, yet again lifting off, getting back on the power early as you head down towards P1, also known as Double Gauche. We'll see what he can do through here. He'll keep it in 7th gear, just throws the car in, slight lift, back on the power as he flies the car through, then runs one on the exit himself for the Lefania chicane. We'll see what he can do through here. You can see just late on the brakes, getting their power back down, using those curves to pull the car and giving some rotation with the throttle as well as he heads down towards this double right hander. At the end of sector 2, it's a 1 minute 12.4 purple in that second sector so far. This is looking like a brilliant lap here, Dan, for Tom Manley.
See what Tom Manley can do as he approaches the final sector now in a very perilous position at the moment in that drop zone. If he doesn't nail this final sector, his qualifying could be over and done with. In towards the final braking zone along this circuit, the bus stop chicane. Tom Manley now through the final corner in the face of defeat. Can he make his way out of Q2? For the time being, he'll go to the top of the order. A sensational time on the board for Tom Manley. It's an AlphaTauri 1-2 as it stands, but there's still 13 drivers with laps yet to set, as this Vampuki will be able to split the pair of them. Let's have a look further back down the order. Some of the last drivers to come across the line are the ones at the very top before these laps began. Kian Goldenop now nestles his Williams into P1. We are looking at Otis Lawrence, a notoriously quick qualifier. Reese Linton already out of this session. He crossed the line in 11th position. Ben Shabakonya disappointing 40.5. Shanika Clay is able to get himself into P4. We're having a look at Otis Lawrence as multiple drivers are coming through now. The final couple of corners as Otis Lawrence off the exit of the final corner in the drop zone at the minute. Will he see his way into Q2? Indeed he will. Thomas Ronhar is also going to get out of this session, and Jarno Otmir comes to the line with the quickest time on the board, a 1 minute 40.174 from the Flying Dutchman. That is 300th quicker than his nearest rival Thomas Ronhar there. Beautiful stuff from Jarno Opmeer to get himself into the next session. So it's Keaton Godendorp that was second on the board. What a lap time from Keaton Godendorp here today. He's pointless so far this season. Belgium could be the turning point, and how about that? A 1, 2 and 3 for the Netherlands, but looking to the bottom of the order, both Hasses, Jack West and Ben Abercrombie are out of this session, being joined by Jan Halliday, Reese Linton and Android Sarah Buchan. The last two actually, I think, had some very poor luck on their runs. Maybe they saw invalidations. I'm not too sure. I didn't quite see their runs. But Nathan, coming to the end of that session, Jarno Opmeer is the quickest in Q2. Typically, Jarno, he does tend to struggle in qualifying, or isn't at that, you know, top level that we see the likes of Thomas Ronhaar and Otis Lawrence reach. But the fact that he's able to do that after coming off the win from Brazil, momentum is high for the Flying Dutchman, and today could be the day that he closes that 6-point gap to Ismail Fassi and leapfrogs over the Williams.
It definitely could be. Obviously, Ishmael was fast in qualifying, but, you know, being P5, P6, yes, it's fast, but normally we expect to see him near the top. I think, yes, Ishmael's got to find something, I think, in this Q3 session. Obviously, the gap between, I think, was Jack and Declan, 10th and 11th, was just less than a 10,000th of a second, so very close between those two going in towards Q3. And the whole grid down to P12 was separated by just over 3.5 tenths of a second, so very close between all those there going through into Q3 and those missing out into Q3. Obviously, those behind obviously made mistakes on that. That's must have had invalidations because they was over a second off, which is definitely not representative of what they can all achieve. But a good thing to see is we've got both the Williamses, both the McLarens, and both the Autoris through in towards Q3. And we'll see if that you know, can play some team games going into the race, because we know they'll all be starting within 9 positions of each other, even if one's first and one's 10th. So this could be very good for those 3 teams. But yeah, I think we've got a very I'd say we've probably got quite a mixed up grid having for Q3. But all these drivers in here could definitely take pole.
Yeah, so it's really good to see some select names in the final parts of. I'll bring us over now to the game scene. You can see 2 names that leap out to me: Tom Manley and Declan Barrett. Both of them making their PC Tier 1 debuts for this season. 2 former Xbox champions as well. They're having a great time here in PC Tier 1 qualifying this evening, making their way into Q3. We hopefully are getting this session underway very, very shortly. But yeah, Tom Manley, Declan Barrett, Nathan, got to be the names that leap out to me. Who, in your eyes, is not the shock of qualifying, but the name that you're most interested in here?
I'll probably say Keaton Godendorp here. I think, you know, it's brilliant to see him through towards Q3. Obviously, he's racing Tier 2 multiple times in a row. He's currently 5th in those standings, so it's not like he's, you know, a dominant driver in Tier 2. So to see him come up into Tier 1, get himself into the top, and get some very quick drives, I think is very good for him. So, yeah, I'm very keen to see what Keaton can do. Obviously, recently only just joining the Williams Esports team. I think it was just over a week ago he was announced there. So, obviously, you know, Williams will be very happy with his performance so far going in towards WR Tier 1. But also, you know, you've got the names of like Otis, Ismail, Jarno, which we all see in Q3. I think it's always interesting to see what they can do on their runs. But well, I've got to stick with Tamas Shkel. I said at the start that at the start of Q2 we'd take it. I've got to stick with him. Dan, did you ever make a decision on who you think will take pole here tonight?
No, I never did, so I guess it's a little bit cheap if I do it now. I could say Jack West and just be like, oh damn, my prediction was wrong. So you know what? I'll go for one. I won't go for the obvious answers like Otis Lawrence and Thomas Ronhaar. I'm gonna back the man that I was talking about on his lap. It's the man himself, Tom Manley. I've just said man 3 times in the span of 2 sentences. That actually was on purpose, but we are watching Keaton Godendorp on his outlap at the minute. Pointless so far this season, and Belgium has been a bit of a joker track for him. On console, of course, he raced for 2 seasons in the console tier. He never scored any points here at Belgium, but he's got himself into Q3. Maybe today is where he breaks that streak that I'm sure no driver would want to have. He will head his way in towards the final part of his outlap. We're just looking at the track conditions now. It is unrecognizable to what we saw in Q1. Torrential rain littering the circuit. Now it's nice clear evening sunset. It's a very nice little picturesque view. I think you can take some good screenshots with the lighting like this.
Definitely, I think, we're in the middle of a forest. The weather here at Spa is a little bit like the UK. It's got its own subclimate. It just changes instantly. It can be wet 1 minute, 40 minutes later, and it's now bone dry, and there's no sign of any raining for the past 2 weeks. So we'll see what these drivers can do now. Obviously, in these more dry conditions as well, some of them might have to get a little bit used to it, because they've been running in some unoptimal conditions for the past 40 minutes. So some drivers might have a bit of a scruffy first lap, just getting used to being able to just put the foot down in places where earlier on they wasn't able to do. So we'll go on with Kia now as he exits out of La Source down towards Eau Rouge and Radio. We'll see what he can do on this opening lap here of the Q3 session. Obviously his teammate Ishmael Fassi as well, also on an 8 lap, so we'll see what he can do on his first run. As Keane Gordon heads through with a bit of DRS now to aid him down towards the LA chicane, and we'll see what his first sector will be. Top speed in this section will be 340 kilometers an hour as he heads onto the brakes there. As he fires through a 29.785 in the first sector for Keane Gondorf as he heads through Malmedy. Down towards Brushels, down at turn number 8. We'll see what he can do into there later. And the brakes throws the current to the inside. Obviously, not wanting to be right on the curve. You want to be very close to it, though, so you can get a decent run on the exit as you come through in towards Speaker's Corner at No Name as well. And he invalidates. That is his lap time done. That is the last thing you want to do on your first run in Q3. And I think the next car coming through, that might be Otis Lawrence. Now, he's the man definitely to keep your eye on for pole position here tonight.
Yeah, Otis Lawrence is very quick in qualifying, and of course he's got 2 wins so far this season. You'd be a fool not to put his hat in the his name in the hat. Don't talk about any hats. I think that's the moral of this story. Let us know, everyone, in the live chat who you think is going to be taking pole position before all the laps are on the board. Don't be cheeky and wait until after these runs are all over. However, Otis Lawrence is on a pretty decent time. I'll let you have that one. He's on a 1 minute 12.2 in the first and second sector, so it's looking very good for the young Welsh driver. Now in towards the final braking zone at the bus stop chicane, sliding his way through there, which is apparently the meta on this F1 23 game. He'll come across the line, a 1 minute 40.273. They are edging closer and closer with every passing lap to the 1 minute 39. A beautiful time from Tom Manley on the border, 1 minute 40.197. Who else can we watch through the final couple of corners? It's an Alpha Tauri 1 and 2 for the time being. Who is up next is one of the Williams drivers of Ishmael Fassi, championship leader. Disappointing lap from him, to say the very least. Let's have a look at Thomas Ronhaar, who invalidated on his run. Jarno Opmeer then will be the last man to come across the line with a valid time on the board, and he'll go to the top of the order with a 1 minute 40.167. Jarno Opmeer topping Q2, and now coming into the first laps of the Q3 session. The fight for pole position is in some fine form, Nathan.
It is indeed. Only 200 separating Jarno, Tamas Gal and Tom Manley. And, well, 2 of our guesses, Tamas and Tom in the same team, sitting second and third. For once, Dan, we might both have our predictions very closely to be true, but Jarno Opmeer could be the one to destroy both of our predictions. He's currently at the top there by 9,000ths of a second to Tamas Gal, and as we always say about Jarno, he's not always the quickest in qualifying. We don't always see him on pole. I think he's probably not got a very good pole position streak at all, I think, in WOR. So we'll see what he can do here tonight. If he can if he can put it on pole. Obviously, he's only done a back-to-back victory once here in WWE. I don't have a clue. WOR. I don't know why I'm thinking of wrestling, because none of these drivers are in a fit state to do that. But as I said, WOR, he's done it once back-to-back, which is last season in the final 2 rounds. So we'll see if he can do it here this season and in this race tonight to make it back-to-back. But also, it is disappointing, isn't it, from Otis Lawrence and Ishmael Fassi sitting down in 5th and 7th. That is the last place we expect to see those 2 drivers. So they've got to figure something out going in towards this session. And I say 5th place for Otis Lawrence, but that's only a 10th off Jarno Opmeer. So it's definitely very possible.
A very close qualifying thus far. And Nathan, it's funny you talk about WWE. Royal Rumble was very recently, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Royal Rumble doesn't occur here tonight, because then we'll have 1 driver left on the circuit if you're really keeping an eye on the stipulations. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen. I hope for all 20 drivers to have a very fun race and make it across the line in a very orderly fashion. Now, with just 4 minutes left to go in this session, Jarno Opmeer is coming back into the pit lane, and if you're thinking about the championship picture, Jarno Opmeer is a great advantage in comparison to Ishmael Fassi. These are really the only 2 contenders we are seeing at this point in time, just separated by only 6 points. Their closest rival is Otis Lawrence, of course, on 50 points. so far this season. It's not done him any good that he missed the first 3 rounds, I think, of this season. Yeah, he missed round number 1 through 3, won round number 4 and 5, and then DNF'd out of the last race at Brazil. Otis Lawrence looking for possibly his 3rd win in 4 races. Lots of different stories, lots of narratives, but the main one today, Jana Otmir versus Ismail Fassi. Seems like first blood going to Jana Otmir.
Definitely, indeed. And obviously, we've got the 2 AlphaTauri sitting right behind Tamas and Tom. Obviously, you know Tamas is very quick in qualifying, but Tom making his first appearance here in WR this season as well. He's not always known for being the quickest in qualifying either, so I think he's definitely a man to watch here going through in towards the final few runs. We've got Tamas Gal out first in the other AlphaTauri. We've got then one of the Williams that'll be Keen going out along with Otis, Isfan as well, all heading onto circuit to begin the final runs of Q3. And well, if you haven't got your predictions in, do it now. It's a bit cheeky because we've got laps on the board, but you might as well put your prediction in and we can see what people predict. I think a lot of it was going towards Otmir earlier. A lot of people saying he's cooking and, all those type of comments. He's the most popular man, isn't he, here in WR? So it's definitely expected to see him get the most predictions. And I think tonight is definitely a perfect chance for him because he is at the top currently. But he's got Tamas, Tom, Isfan, Otis, Declan, all separated by just over a 1/10 of a second. Just say he makes one mistake and all these improve by just a 1/10, he could drop down to P6. So the pressure's still on the Flying Dutchman here. He's going to be the last one to set a lap. He's just coming through in towards Origin Radion, so he gets to see everyone set their laps first, and then he'll be the final one to cross the line, and we'll see if that is going to be looked for him or if it is not. And I believe the first one to select will be Kian Gondorp, who just passed. It would have been Tamas Gal heading out in towards P1, so we'll see what he can do tonight. And we've got the 5-pad grid penalty, but it doesn't matter because we've got a restart anyway after qualifying.
Yeah, we've got a poll in the live chat, so please do let us know who you think is going to be getting pole position. Your current options are Jana Otmir, Tamas Gal, and Tom Manley, and then there's other where you have to comment who your prediction is, and it's safe to say Jana Otmir is absolutely washing the field. 78% of the votes going his way. Before the laps get underway, I'll actually read out some of your predictions. We had ETA Rizza saying Shanika Clay on pole. Yatin Panguro says Otmir pole. Victor Fodbold says Goatmir. Kiri says Otmir pole, not even gonna lie. Clean Culture going with Jana. I want to see some more opinions, Advaith says Thomas Ronhar. F1 Gaming Castoro says Otis getting pole. Got another one from Tacos for All saying Shanika Clay. Lots of different predictions coming out in chat, but it seems like the general consensus is that Jana Otmir is going to be taking pole position. Not a lot of predictions for Tamas Gal, who's getting his lap underway. He's been very impressive in qualifying to keep that absolutely particular there. Heading now in towards turn number 1. We'll check in on his lap as it continues, but I want to watch one man only, Thomas Ronhart, Otis Lawrence. He gets his lap underway, Nathan. He is arguably the best qualifier on this grid, and he's just got his lap underway.
He is indeed. There's one man you're scared of in qualifying. It will be Otis Lawrence. So watch what he can do on this on this final run here in Q3. Everyone bar Ismail Fassi starting their runs. So this is the final time for you to set a run here in qualifying to take pole position. As you can see, Otis Lawrence coming through, flying down towards Lacombe chicane. What will he do in this first effort? Is into the improvement for Otis. He will be up by exactly a 10th. This is key for Lawrence. This could put him possibly onto pole position with just that improvement alone. He's still got 2 sectors left to go before he can claim that pole position if he wants to, as he heads down in towards turn and right, just throwing the car. And you can see now, Dan, into these final runs, this is where they just throw absolutely everything at it because they know they've got nothing to lose here.
Yeah, Otis Lawrence is flying at the moment, and a 10th up in the first sector is very good signs for the rest of his lap. Let's check in on Kian Gondorp, see his improvements. He's coming up purple in the second sector, a 12.1 for the Dutch driver, second in Q2. Can he be maybe the dark horse to take pole position without a lap time on the board? Kian Gondorp flies his way through Blanchimont for the final time in this qualifying session. Let's have a look at him now. Heavy braking in towards the bus stop chicane, but he's keeping his foot in as he exits now the final corner. Open up the DRS for the final time in qualifying, and to the line is a 1:40.118 from him there. Tamas Gal though with a 1:39, the first of the day. What about Otis Lawrence heading now through the final few corners? Shanika Clay to the line with a 1:39.947. Otis Lawrence, the best he can do is third fastest. Jana Otmir is improving, but it might not be enough to take pole position. Big news here, Thomas Ronhart invalid. valid on his run. So it's all up to Jan Watmir and Ismail Fassi, the two championship contenders coming up towards the line. Who is going to get the advantage in the race? Ismail Fassi, the last one across the line. And what is that for him? I believe it's P5, which should be quicker than Jan Watmir, but it is Shanaka Clay on pole position. Is it Shanaka Clay? It is indeed Shanaka Clay on pole position. One of two drivers to set a 1 minute 39 in this session. Look at how close that is from start to finish. A brilliant qualifying session there, and it lines up with Shanaka Clay on pole, Tamas Gal second.
Indeed, and well, I might not have been right about Tamas getting pole, but I was right about the fact that Jano could drop down to P6 if he didn't improve enough, and well, that's happened exactly. He's only in P6 in his championship rival Ismail Fassi, who hasn't looked that quick compared to Jano in this qualifying, has got himself ahead going into this race. So this is key for the championship for Ismail Fassi. Obviously, only 2 points separating P5 and P6, but 2 points is certainly a lot. You can see though, Shanaka on pole, absolutely brilliant stuff.
Fantastic lap time coming out from Shanaka Clay there. Unfortunately, my prediction, Nathan, didn't quite come to fruition. So you get the first point in our little fight there. Normally, I'm quite good at guessing who's going to take pole position and win the race. So maybe I'll get you back in the race. But we are having a lobby restart, everyone. Let us know your thoughts in the live chat about that qualifying session. I gotta say, very, very unpredictable from start to finish. We started off with a big name in Jake Benham getting eliminated in Q1. He will start this race from 20th on the grid, then in towards Q2 as fairly standard stuff. Jan Ortmir and King Godendorp lining up 1 and 2. It was a Dutch 1, 2, 3 in that session, and then coming in towards the final parts of qualifying. Gotta say, not a lot of people predicted Shanaka Clay and Tamas Gal. In fact, on the poll, Jan Ortmir had 74% of the votes. Tamas Gal only had 9. There wasn't many Shanaka Clay predictions. He wasn't on the poll, so can't really count them. But gotta say, very impressed with Tamas Gal, one of the only 2 times in the 1 minute 39s.
Yeah, indeed, and I am quite intrigued to see what Jake and Duncan can do from the back, because I think we know those two are very good on race pace and they're very good when it comes to that IQ and strategy. So those two starting the back, they're going to have to probably try something a little bit different to get themselves into some points in this race. So yeah, I'm quite intrigued to see what they can do, but I think either way, the grid itself, it's always good when you have a bit, I'd say you probably have a bit more of a mixed grid going into this race. We've got people in different places we don't normally expect them to be, and also some of these more unknowns. You know, obviously we've got 4 drivers here making their first appearances. They're a bit of an unknown. We can see what they can do going into this. So I think either way, we've got a very, very enthralling 22 laps here at Belgium. And I think one of the biggest issues with this track is if you have an incident on lap 1, you've got a long way to go before you can get yourself back into it. And on a track like Austria, it's a 1 minute 4 lap. Around track like here, it's 1 minute 40. You've got an extra 30 seconds compared to other tracks where you've got to go around with damage. So lap 1 is all about damage control, I think, around a circuit like this, or at least the first few corners. Yeah, if you're going to get damage, at least do it in the chicane, where you can go straight back into the bits. But at the start of the lap, it is going to be horrible. And at that point, you'll just see drivers thinking, you know what, forget this. And they'll just retire from the session there and then they're not going to bother going around a whole circuit to go back in. So yeah, damage control, lap 1 is a key thing. And then strategy also is another big thing to play here, isn't it? As well, with the fact that we've got dynamic weather, I believe. Anything could happen here tonight. I think I'm very excited to see what can happen. I think Spa always delivers great races, doesn't it, Dan? Every time I've been here. Last season as well. Brilliant. We had a 3-way battle on the final lap of the race.
Yeah, Spa always does seem to deliver in terms of quality of races. We'll join you on the other side of a quick ad break and a word from our sponsors. We'll see you in just a minute's time.
It's the home of sim racing leagues. Our management tools allow you to recruit drivers and monitor their ratings and live split. Find this and more at GridFinder.com. Sign up for free today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the WOR stream. We've just concluded qualifying, and it's come up with a Shanaka Clay pole position. Now, Nathan, talking about Shanaka, he is in some great form at the minute. In the last 2 races, he's had 2 consecutive top 5 finishes, but what I think is an even more impressive stat is that he has never finished outside the top 5 here at Belgium. And it looks like that trend is going to continue here this evening. He's having a great season so far, already tripling his points tally from season 15. He was on 11 in season 15, now on 33 here in season 16. Shanaka is having the revitalization of a lifetime here. His career is coming back up. He's joined SRC, I believe it's called, and he's having a great time of it. And on top of all of that, you just mentioned that to me in the ad break. He's got the flu at the minute.
Yeah. Not ideal, but to be able to perform like that when you have the flu, you feel absolutely horrible. So to be able to do that, absolutely hats off to him. And he said that's the reason why he couldn't stream. And it would have been a perfect time to stream when he got pole, but unfortunately, no, not tonight. And yeah, I think there'll be one team very angry to have lost a driver like Shanaka Clay because, I think he was definitely robbed of a position there.
Yeah, I don't really know all the details, but Shanaka Clay, I think, is a driver that anyone should be very happy to have on their team, and it seems like SRC was able to beat everyone to the punch there and pick up some great free agent talent with some really good esports experience as well. He's been a part of the esports scene for what feels like, I think it might be since 2019, I want to say. He was in the Racing Point car, then that became, of course, Aston Martin. Then he moved over to Williams as of last season, made a great partnership with Alvaro Carreton. It's unfortunate that he wasn't a part of the Williams development plans for this season, but nevertheless, he's not been deterred by that at all. He's doing a great time, so we will have to wait and see if he's able to convert that in the race here this evening. But Nathan, one thing we also got to talk about is the third row of this grid. Yep. Ismail Fassi in 5th place, Jana Watmir 6th. That is the championship fight starting alongside each other. And I think those two are going to have the most heated battle of anyone on this grid for position early on.
Definitely. I think, obviously, depending what tyres they take to the first part of the race, I think their main thing will just be trying to get past each other as soon as possible to, to have that buffer to them in the championship. Obviously, as we know, between 5th and 6th, it's only 2 points separating it. But when the gap in the championship is 6, an extra 2 points, that's quite a lot to add on to either increase or decrease your championship lead. So, Ismail Fassi, he's got a lot of work to do tonight. So is Jana Watmir. Obviously, Jana taking, multiple podiums along with Ismail this season. But Ismail, he hasn't been as strong these past couple of rounds, hasn't took a podium lead for the last 2 rounds. So he's definitely going to be keen to get one tonight. Obviously, he took one back. Did he get one back in Brazil, actually?
He got it last week,
Because Ron Hall got a penalty, didn't he? Yeah, Ron Hall got a penalty, so he did get the podium in the end. I think it's exciting to see what he can do tonight. But obviously, with Shanaka on pole, I think he'll definitely be very keen to try and get a victory. I don't think he's took a win at all for the past couple of seasons here in WRT1, so he'll be very keen to get himself onto that top step. So he'll definitely be defending that P1 towards the end of the race if he can still keep himself up there after the first runs. And obviously that stint swap to a different set of tires. Obviously, some people start on the hard, soft, or mediums. Normally, we don't see many people run the mediums, but you never know. We could see that happen tonight. Normally, it is a set of softs or hards around most circuits. Obviously, normally going on to a set of mediums towards the end. So we'll see what that strategy does for the drivers tonight. And obviously, with Tom as well. Tom Manley started, I think, also in that top 10. He's doing a very good job so far. So I'm keen to see what he can do to get himself, hopefully, some well-deserved points.
Yeah, and you mentioned this man earlier, of course, Thomas Ronhaar, losing out on the podium last week due to a collision with Philip Presnader. I think it was a punt to pass that unfortunately undid Thomas Ronhaar. Now he's starting in 10th position. He is chasing that first podium. Thomas Ronhaar is having a difficult start to this season, of course, only racing twice so far, but he's not been able to take a podium in either of those rounds. Of course, was on the podium in Brazil, lost it out due to that penalty, dropped all the way into 6th position. He's going to come back with a vengeance here tonight. But starting from 10th on the grid, Thomas Ronhaar really did struggle in qualifying.
Indeed. And, well, I'm not going to ask who you think will win yet, but who do you think tonight, Dan, will be the surprise driver in the race?
Oh, my God. That's a tough one. I want to go with Declan Barrett. He's starting on 4th. On the second row of the grid in 4th position. It was a great qualifying from both McLaren drivers. They lock out that second row. And I want to say Declan Barrett's going to have a good race. Whether or not that results in a podium, I'm not too sure. But I think Declan Barrett's going to have a good one.
So I think I should have to answer that question. It's quite hard yet again, isn't it, Dan? There's so many people that can do
hard.
good tonight. But I'm going to have to go with Jake Benham. I think it's a bit of an obvious answer. He's at the back. He's a very quick driver. He should work his way up. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Jake Benham, though, to have a bit of a bigger surprise in this race and work his way up the field quite well. But as you said, Declan Barrett is also starting in P4. It's his first appearance as well, so it's good for him to be up there. And also, you've got lots of Tycho and Jan as well. They're down in that bottom 10, but it's their first race. We'll see if they can try and make some moves up into this race and also go for a bit more of a different strategy to try and, disassociate themselves with the others and try and make that work. I don't know, but we can see, Dan, we've got people starting to load in now. In the next 30 to 40 seconds, we should hopefully have all the cars heading down towards La Source and hopefully no Banzars in towards turn 1.
Fingers crossed that it does keep, everyone is nice and civil heading in towards that very heavy braking zone at turn number 1 of La Source. And I was just thinking of, I was getting some flashbacks, 12 years ago at this point, past, was it? No, Romain Grosjean. It was down at turn number 1. What was it? Lewis Hamilton, Kamui Kobayashi, Fernando Alonso, all in that collision. And I wonder, whoever's starting in that 8th to 10th position, I wonder if any of them are going to do their best Romain Grosjean impression and absolutely send it in towards turn number 1. We'll have to wait and see, but I will bring us over now to the scene in preparation for this race to get underway. You can see it's nice, clear blue skies here in the Ardennes Forest. A beautiful scene for a race track. One of the most iconic circuits on the Formula 1 calendar. Now Nathan heading towards this 22-lap race. I'm going to be the one to ask the difficult question. I want to see everyone's response in the live chat. Who's taking the win?
Tamas Gal.
Tamas. Wow, 2 words. That's all you need. Tamas Gal to take the win from second on the grid. I suppose I should give my prediction as well. I'm going to go back-to-back victories for Jarno Opmeer here this evening. Very strong here in Belgium. Won here in season 11, and he got second last season in season 15. So I have to wait and see how this race turns out. 22 laps, as previously mentioned, around this 7-kilometer long circuit is the longest lap on the Formula 1 calendar by a decent margin. It's around about 10 seconds clear of any other circuit on the Formula 1 calendar. Yeah, so very excited to get this one underway. Shanika Clay starting on pole position ahead of Tamas Gal, who's going to win the race in towards turn number 1. What will happen between Ismail Fassi and Jarno Opmeer starting on the 3rd row of the grid side by side? There's so many questions that are left to be answered in this race. Let me know, everyone in the live chat, who you think is going to be taking the win today. I'm seeing lots of Jake Benhams from 20th on the grid, Otis Lawrence, Shanika Clay, lots and lots of Jarno Opmeer, some Thomas Ronhaars in there as well. We'll have to wait and see. I see Postman Pat getting a shout out as well. I know he's an absolute baller. I didn't know he could do it in a Formula 1 car as well. Here we go, though. 22 laps are awaiting us here in Belgium. Let's get ready. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the beginning of the Belgian Grand Prix, and it looks to be a good getaway from Shanika Clay towards turn number 1. Otis Lawrence, though, already up the inside of Tamas Gal, who's lost many positions. Shanika Clay then leads, heading in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Otis Lawrence, though, hot on his heels. Little bit of contact. There's a bit of desync there. Otis Lawrence, oh my words. What is happening? I don't know if that's happened on your screen there, Nathan, but Otis Lawrence already sent to the back of the order. Meanwhile, Declan Barrett, my surprise winner potentially in this race, he'll go and take the lead.
Well, that was the start, wasn't it? Indeed, then. So we've also got further back. We've got lots of Jarno Opmeer battling with Tamas Gal. We've got Estefan Pookie battling with Keane, going up there for P6 as well. But big shame for Otis Lawrence to have a bit of decent called lag to drop him all the way down to the rear of the field, and that could have ended in some contact. Luckily, he seemed to go to just disappear. That was better than him just being absolutely smashed through by the field. So a big shame for him on this race start. And we've also got the likes of Jack West trying to gain in as well on Tamas Gal to the inside at Pooh, and he goes for a send as the Haas. Can he make it work? And he does. He sends Tamas a bit wide, gets a move done. Brilliant there from Jack West there in the Haas car. Further back, we've got Ronhaar trying to make a move ahead of Manley, the inside of the chicane, but a contact. Manley goes deep. Ronhaar lets him have that position. Back in there, we've got Jan Halliday. So is that going to be... Oh, that's another after we go. So that'll be Tamas Gal. Big poor start for him. He's also hit the grass on the inside, and this has not gone well at all. And you can see here, Dan, they're pushing each other through curve to full threat. the curve to pull frame. We can see Todd Ronhart take the position. We've got Andrei Tarabukin, but further up, we can see Yana Uppbeat on the softs making a move ahead of Ishmael Fassi for P3.
Wow, incredible stuff at the beginning of this race. Tamas Gal, the big story, losing so many places at the beginning of this race. And oh, Thomas Ronhart almost up the inside of his teammate there. Very close to contact between himself and Jan Halliday, but they've just about come away unscathed at the beginning of this one. The two Aston Martins doing battle. That's Andrei Tarabukin defending from Duncan Offland, who's up his inside. And now Reese Linton has a bad run through turn number 1. It's chaos throughout the entirety of this field. Let's have a look though at the front of the order, because Yana Uppbeat is on the attack. Shanika Clay starting on those hard compound tires is going to have no chance of defending from Yana Uppbeat. Here comes Kingo Norp as well, battling it out with his teammate, and looks to the outside line of Shanika Clay, too wide in towards Laycom. He has to go over the curb, but now in towards the outside of Malmedy. Kingo Norp's going to have to sacrifice that position for the time being. He's all over the back of Shanika Clay, who does a great job of defending that place.
Indeed, we can see for the back out, it's so back up to P11 already. He's made 8 positions in 1 lap, so he's got himself already back into the points when he was in 19th about a minute ago. So brilliant there from Otis to get himself back up towards the top. Further up, we've got Ihsan Pookie starting on the set of mediums, along with Tycho Hardy, the 2 Ferraris, on a different strategy. And Ihsan's going to go for a move he can on Ishmael Fassi. Can't make the move there. Obviously, Ishmael's teammate King Gondup's got his move ahead of his teammate. But obviously, they're on the hards and the others are on the soft, so obviously they're going to be a bit quicker, but perfect from Declan to get a 1.2 second lead to break that DRS from Yana Uppbeat. I'm sure Yana will try his best to get himself back within it.
Yeah, once Yana Uppbeat is able to get within that DRS range, he should be able to reel in Declan Barrett ever so slightly as this race continues along. Otis Lawrence is doing his best recovery drive possible. Here's Istvan Pookie looking to the outside of Ishmael Fassi in towards the bus stop chicane. Very easy move for Istvan Pookie. They're looking to score some of his first points in this scene. It's been a very difficult start to the year for Istvan Pookie, but it's been a good start to this race as DRS is now enabled. Yana Uppbeat creeping towards that 1 second window that he needs to get DRS on Declan Barrett, and now heading towards the detection point. I do believe that he has been able to get within that 1 second window, and I saw a comment from the WOR YouTube channel itself that was passion from Shanika Clay. No Williams cars allowed to pass Nathan. If that's not a statement, I don't know what is.
Well, it definitely is a big statement, isn't it? You know, you can see Shanika Clay and certainly dominance now in this point of the race and showing well. Williams, you made a very big mistake. He's now ahead in the Rebel, obviously not part of Rebel, but he's racing the Rebel here tonight, and we'll see if he can also try and beat the 2 Williamses. That would definitely be a bit of a slap around the neck, wouldn't it, to the Williams team after dropping him only a few weeks ago. But further back into the action, we can see Otis Lawrence now up to P9, looking to close in on Tom Manley. But the 2 AlphaTauris, what a poor start. Tom down to P8 and Tamas Gal 10 to P12. I'll definitely compensate Kirsten. That was definitely not ideal whatsoever for him. But also Thomas Ronhart, not going anywhere, just staying in P10. He's been up there, and he's now back where he started.
It's very early in the race at this point. Of course, only lap number 3 of 22, so these drivers have got to prioritise the best they can. Just keep taking these tyres as long as possible and hope that advantage comes to you later on in this race. We're watching Otis Lawrence making his resurgence up the field. Now gets through on Tom Manley, up in towards 8th position. He's almost back to where he started, so Otis Lawrence is having a field day, overtaking the entirety of this field. Let's have a look at Yana Uppbeat though on the attack on the back of Declan Barrett. They both cleared Shanika Clay of DRS threats, so it's these 2 leaders looking to do battle heading in towards the Laycom chicane. Otis Lawrence, the fastest man out on circuit at 44.013. He's having a fantastic time on his set of the softs, but Nathan, those tyres will not last forever, so Otis Lawrence, he's got to make these moves and he's got to make them quick, and so far it's been so good for him.
Definitely. I think we know around a track like this, obviously, there's less laps to run, so these softs will go less laps than they would normally around other different circuits, so we can see what Yana can do. He sits back for now, and they're still quicker than Shanika Clay's King Gondor, popping himself into P3 there, ahead of Shanika. And also we can see some Pookie starting to gain in as well on those mediums, but we know these softs probably around 6 or 7 laps time, they'll be absolutely done for, and they'll be rushing back into the pit to get themselves a set of medium tyres on to the remainder of the race, unless I'm going to go for hards, but I don't think that'll be much more of a viable strategy. Obviously, all those on the hards will probably go to a set of mediums. We might see 1 or 2 go for a bit of a soft strategy, throw a little bit further back and want to try something different. Obviously, like for Jake Benham will be, maybe a little bit more inclined to trying something like that strategy. Obviously, those in around that top 10 area will just want to try and play it safe and get themselves some decent points or decent positions coming through towards the end of this race. But obviously, F1 Pookie looking to gain in quickly on the back of Shanaka Claire. But Shanaka's also keeping quite well with back of Keane Gondorp with that DRS, which is definitely key for him on no set hard. So even though he was a second down from Jarno Opmeer, now he's been overtaken by Keane. He's comfortably within a second, so maybe that could have helped him a bit more than being behind Jarno as they come through. You can see F1 Pookie going on the outside in towards Blanchimont, tries to make a move past Shanaka Clay. I don't think Shanaka saw him coming at first. He gets the move done to the inside, goes with F1 Pookie. That definitely would have been a bit scared for both of them there coming through by side, nearly onto the grass for F1 Pookie coming through towards the entry of Blanchimont.
He dipped a tyre on the grass on the outside of Blanchimont. That was a very brave move from F1 Pookie, but he's been rewarded for his efforts there. And now it seems like the train has been able to catch up with the drivers at the top of the order. That means Jarno Opmeer might want to kick it into another gear and try and get through on Declan Barrett, because if he doesn't, Kian Godendorp will be all over the rear of his fellow countryman. Let's have a look then, see what Jarno Opmeer can do. Open up that DRS. Declan Barrett with no defense whatsoever, and Jarno Opmeer will lead the race for the very first time heading in towards lap number 5. Declan Barrett still doing a fantastic job to lead this race from the offset. His teammate Otis Lawrence having issues very early on, but he's managed to recover in towards 7th position now as this race continues along. Kian Godendorp with the best seat in this house to watch the two leaders. Meanwhile, further back behind, Tom Manley and Thomas Ronhaar doing battle in towards turn number 8. It seems like Tom Manley has been able to fend off Thomas Ronhaar for the time being. The two Saubers all over the rear of the AlphaTauri there, heading in towards Puon for the 5th time in this race. It seems like, Nathan, we're getting some nice battles.
We are definitely. I think another thing with that is the fact we've got people on different tyres. Obviously, we've got all 3 tyre campaigns being used at the start of this race. Going into the end of this race, we'll probably see at least 2 of them also being used. So it'll be, I think I'm very excited to see what can happen at the end. The start's been quite enthralling. The end will be even better. I think we could see many people here in this field fighting for victories and podiums here tonight. We've got F1 Pookie looking to gain in now on Kian Gondorp to probably self up into P3. He's got a 3/10 gap as they come through in towards Blanchimont, down towards a bus stop chicane. He's gaining in, but not enough to go for a bit of a send there on the back of the Williams. Further up, we can see Declan Barrett looking to close back in on Jarno Opmeer. These two, a move for the first for Declan doesn't mean too much at this point, because they're just going to be swapping around for DRS as they head back down towards turn 1. Further back, we've got Ismail Fasse looking to make a move there ahead of Shanaka Kled to pop himself into P5. Went for a bit of send, backed at the last second, goes a bit deep. That could have lost him some time as they exit out to turn 1 down towards Rouge and Rally on the big hill, and we can see Ismail Fasse actually getting quite a good exit on the back of Shanaka. Can he try and make a move down towards Lake? Because he's got a decent run. He's using battery there to get himself ahead of the Red Bull. Pulls to the outside line. A bit of an easy move there, I think, from Ismail Fasse. But further ahead, we can see Declan Barrett take back the lead from Jarno Opmeer as I head down towards turn number 5 at Lake-On. But Kian Gondorp, Dan, he's definitely going to be a threat, isn't he, in this race?
Yeah, Kian Gondorp has arguably the best position at the minute, because he doesn't have to use any of his resources. He can sit in behind Declan Barrett and Jarno Opmeer as they trade positions for the lead of this race, save up his battery, save his tyres for as long as he can, and then maybe try and go a little bit longer than these two in this race, and then we'll see if Kian Gondorp will have that tyre advantage towards the end. It's still very early doors here in Belgium, only lap number 6 of 22. Seems like at this point F1 Pookie should have the best tyres out of anyone. Could he possibly make some moves on Kian Gondorp and Jarno Opmeer and then himself try and challenge Declan Barrett for the lead? From one McLaren we move to the other. Otis Lawrence then in at 7th position, all over the rear of Shanaka Clay. It seems like these soft tyres still have some life in them for the McLaren Shadow driver, and he is closing to the back of Shanaka, heading now in towards Blanchimont corner. Shanaka Clay with not much slipstream on the rear of Ismail Fasse. Otis Lawrence will look towards the outside line at the bus stop chicane later on the brakes, and Otis Lawrence makes the mistake and gets himself back up into 6th position, only 3 places back from where he started. It has been the recovery drive of a century for Lawrence.
Yes, brilliant recovery here from Otis so far as they head back down towards turn 1, but focus back on the leaders. Kian Gondorp very close to the back of Jarno Opmeer as they head out of turn number 1 down towards Rouge and Radion. Again, we'll see if he can get any moves more down towards Lake-On chicane, but Kian this time will be looking if he can to try and maybe get ahead of Declan to pop himself into P2, because he's gaining and he's got 67% of battery. The 2 ahead, Declan's only got 27%, Jarno's got 80%, Jarno pulls to the outside. Kian's looking to gain in. Can he make a move ahead of the McLaren? No, he can't, but he's gaining in quickly. But yes, that's definitely bad for Declan, being on 27% of battery. That will harm him towards the end of the race. He'll automatically have less than the others unless they all decide to burn their battery in the next few laps. Further back, we can see Istvan Puk is still gaining, and he's also got a lot of battery to use. So if he wants to get past Keane Gondorp, he probably can do so with a bit of battery down towards Icon, but they don't want it. There's no point wasting your battery to make a move for P3, and realistically at this point it means absolutely nothing further back. We can still see the 2L from Ed trying to get in on Tom Manley. We're sticking there behind him. Pete, 10 and 11, not making many moves. But you saw a few times earlier on in this lap and last lap, Sorenstronha was pushing to get past Tom, but could never make the move stick. So we'll see when it's his turn to make an overtaking this race to pop himself a little bit further through in the points. But yet again, we can see further back Ismail Fassi also looking to make moves. Dan, at this point, you don't know where to look, do you?
You really don't, but I think Istvan Puk, Ismail Fassi, they could maybe try and launch an attack on Kian Gondorp. Both of them are very quick at the minute. Their tyres are in optimal conditions. Here comes Istvan Puk on the back of Kian Gondorp. No battery being deployed for the Ferrari driver, and will sit back for the time being. Is he going to keep to the in line with the Williams? No, he will actually keep in line with the Williams. I thought he was going to go up the inside line, but Istvan Puk is happy to sit in P4 for the time being. With every lap that passes, those softs are going to get further and further away from the pace that those medium tyres have. They should still be good for another few laps in this race. Istvan Puk then now within 3/10 of Kian Gondorp. Is this the opportunity potentially up the hill and through Eau Rouge and Radion? Just the DRS train, Nathan, it makes it so difficult to overtake in this Grand Prix. You can expect Declan Barrett to go for the move and make that as easy as possible. He'll go up the inside. Kian Gondorp going to try and follow through in towards the Lecom chicane. Jan Watmir leaves in the space on the inside line. Kian Gondorp still trying to stick his nose in. Istvan Puk arriving onto the scene. This is allowing for Declan Barrett to escape up the road. Here comes Puk down the inside of the Williams driver in towards turn number 8. Still wheel to wheel off the exit. They're going to run side by side. Istvan Puk saw his opportunity and grabbed it with both hands. He'll make his way up into third position and onto the podium.
Brilliant move there from Istvan Puk, taking chance of that opportunity. We can see further back Ismail Fassi. They're trying to get past his teammates. And you get the move done. He goes around the outside. I think Keane's like, yeah, you might as well go through. You're quicker at this point. So now Ismail Fassi into the top 4, and the 2 championship rifles getting closer and closer again. Jan Watmir in second, Ismail Fassi in P4. If the results were like this, I think the gap in the championship would be like 2 points. So this is very key for Jarno to be second. It's very key for Ismail to try and get himself into that top 3. Ahead of Istvan Puk. Further back, we've got Otis Lawrence now looking to gain in and get past the 1 Williams of Kian Gondorp. And he started what? P3, dropped down to P19, back up in towards the top 5, presumably. What a recovery from Otis Lawrence. I think, sure, he's got to be the quickest on track by far, hasn't he?
I think he is probably the quickest, definitely of the soft drivers. But at this point, I'd say those tyres are beginning to go off. Tamas Gal and Ben Abercrombie, both interestingly enough, off their set of the hard compounder tyres very early on in this race, will come into the box. They've got, what 14 laps left to go in this race. What is it going to be for the pair of them? I wonder if there's any damage on either of their cars. We'll have a look at them in just a few moments' time. It's mediums for both Tamas Gal and Ben Abercrombie. Interesting scenes that we are seeing here. Let's have a look at Istvan Puk on the back of Jarno Watmir, who's been able to close to the rear of Declan Barrett once again. Declan escaped up the road once they saw the battling further back behind, but now Jarno Watmir and Istvan Puk and the rest of the field have all been able to close up. We're seeing more battling throughout the order. Thomas Ronhaar, I missed that one. He's been able to get himself up into 9th position. Now Tom Manley is feeling the pressure from Jan Halliday, but it seems like the top 11, Nathan, in a train of their own.
Definitely on. Duncan Hofford, you can see, just trying to get himself back within a second. Just about got within a second of Jan as they come through in towards Puant corner. They've gone a little bit too deep though. Duncan has that. Could have lost in time. He's used a bit more battery to keep himself within that 1 second. Further back, Jake Banner up into P15. Hasn't been the best start. Hasn't made positions, but he's kept himself consistently in the position he's. But further up, we can see literally Istvan Puk is pushing Jarno Watmir through in towards the next part of this circuit. We can see. Is Istvan going to use a bit of battery to get past? He's not using any battery, but he's gaining in already without that battery, that slipstream on the back of Jarno Watmir. Can he make a move down in towards this next part of the circuit? He's pushing the Mercedes through. Where does he go? He sticks behind. He's not keen to make a move here on the Mercedes. He doesn't send it either, so I'm surprised. I thought he would have sent it there, to be honest, through in towards that corner. Declan Barrett into the pits, the race leader into the pit lane now. We'll see what tyres he goes on to. Surely will be a set of medium tyres. Kian Gondorp joining him in the pits, and they head back down towards 2-1 again. It's Jarno Watmir in the lead, ahead of Istvan Puk, ahead of Ismail Fassi in the top 3.
Well, now Jarno Watmir is going to have no DRS to defend from Istvan Puk or Ismail Fassi, with Ismail practically attached to the rear diffuser of that Ferrari, heading up the hill and through Radion corner. What will we see heading in towards the Lecom chicane? Ismail Fassi already applying the pressure to Istvan Pukki, heading down in towards the braking zone. Istvan Pukki will go for that move in into the lead. Meanwhile, Ismail Fassi and his title rival Jan Ortmir do battle through the Lecom chicane. Ismail Fassi makes that move stick as Jan Ortmir's tyres are crying out at this point, and there it is. Istvan Pukki taking the lead of this Grand Prix on lap number 10. Ismail Fassi gets himself up into second. Jan Ortmir relegated down into third position, but seeing that Declan Barrett and Kian Gondorf came into the pit lane last time out, it's got to be a sign for Jan Ortmir. It's time to box.
Indeed, you can see he's already lost half a second to the top two already, so he needs to go to bits this lap alone. Obviously, you can see as well Shanaka Clay pushing Otis Lawrence through and towards this next chicane. These softs have hit their drop off there now, pretty much dead. So Otis and Yano should be in the pits this lap onto a set of medium tyres. Obviously, we saw Declan and Keane also going to a set of mediums. Declan's got a good advantage there over Keane going up, got a 1.4 second advantage. The issue that Keane's got though is he's got two behind, with also on a set of mediums. With that DRS, that could also ruin Keane's race here tonight. But you can see Shanaka Clay going for a move to the outside of Otis Lawrence in towards Blanchimont. These two had battle earlier on for the lead. This time it's for P4 in towards the chicane. It's the move done for Shanaka Clay to pop himself into the top four. Now, do we see Jan Ortmir pit? Yes, we do. Do we see Otis Lawrence pit? We do. So now it is from Pukki leads ahead of Ismail Fassi, ahead of Shanaka Clay in the top three. But the issue that Shanaka's got is he's not got that 1 second to the top two. He could be under pressure here from those behind lots of Jack West, Taj Ron and Tom Manley, all sitting within that train. The train now going from P3 all the way down to P14. This is brilliant racing from these drivers here tonight.
Yeah, it's a fantastic race that we are seeing thus far. Here comes Ismail Fassi looking to lead this race for the very first time on the back of Istvan Pukki. Easy move around the outside, down the Camel Straight, and Istvan Pukki going to offer no defence whatsoever. Ismail Fassi able to get through with ease as Jack West gets his way in towards turn number, whatever that is. I think turn number 4 is, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I know the names, Nathan. I don't know any of the corner numbers. I think this is turn number 8 down at Ravage, if I'm not mistaken, or Bruxelles. Have got plenty of names around here at Belgium. I know this is no name corner. You've been using something else. I'm sure I need to brush up on my Spa Focus Shop
corner.
What's that corner called?
Speaker's Corner, because it's where the commentary box is.
Ah, Speaker's Corner. Very nice indeed. Well, the more you know. Heading through here on lap number 11, we're approaching the halfway point, and Nathan, finally the pit stops are beginning to roll out here. Declan Barrett is the net race leader. Ben Jabba and Tamas Gow, interestingly enough, from being outside the top 10, have been able to jump both Keane Goldendorp and Jan Ortmir and Otis Lawrence as well, so they put themselves in a decent position, but with much older tyres than their rivals.
Definitely. So we'll see if this can pay out for those two. It could be possible, but also we know that the tyre difference, even if it's 1 lap tyre difference, it could cost you a couple of tenths a lap. So we could definitely see them fall down near the end, or they could keep it in the positions they are. So we'll see how that can work out for those guys. Further ahead, we can see lots of Istvan Pukki still pushing on. We can see a few people starting to pit Jack West into the pits. Again, Halliday into pits on the hard tyres. They're going to chuck themselves onto a set of mediums to take those to the end of this race, and we'll see how that can work out for them. Declan Barrett will still be in that net lead of the race ahead of Ben Shabakonya now, who got past Tamas Gal earlier on, and Keane going up, demoted down to net P4, dropped behind both of those on the older compounder tyres. We can see further ahead is from Pukki looking to make the move for the lead. Thomas Ronhard looking to put himself onto that third position as they head down towards Lecom again. Istvan Pukki takes the lead of the race. Thomas Ronhard takes third from Shanaka Clay. Further back, we can see Tom Manley trying to close in. He can't make a move, but he's definitely keeping in touch with the Rebel as they head through now in towards the next part of the circuit, down towards Malmedy and Bruxelles. And I can't get over the fact this track, every single corner's got about 4 different names.
It's very difficult to know. And Lewis McGlade has also given us turn number 9. Is also called X after, I'd imagine, Jackie X. There, I wouldn't know who else it would be named after, but that is 3 names for 1 corner, which is ironically called No Name most of the time. So yeah, I don't know what they constitute for names over in Belgium, but from my eye, they've got plenty. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll find out some more as this race continues along. Let us know your favourite corner corner name in Formula 1, and specifically around this circuit. There's so many different ones. I love Stavelot. It just rolls off the tongue very nicely. And Nathan, you can kind of tell nothing's really happening at this point in the race. Lots of DRS moves, lots of pit stops coming out very soon. Ismail Fassi all over the rear of Istvan Pukki. Istvan's got to come into the pits very, very soon. He's now done 12 laps on that set of the mediums. Thomas Ronhar and Chanaka Clay into pit lane, along with Duncan Hoffman, Reese Linton, and Tom Manley. So it seems like a lot of the moves in the pit lane are being made now. But for the time being, we see Declan Barrett is your net race leader. That is very, very good to see.
Indeed, I'll speak to Declan quite often, and he always says, you know, he's waiting for that chance to get himself to a victory. He said he deserves it. He knows he can be one of the quickest, and tonight, this is his best chance to prove he can be one of the quickest here in WOR Tier 1. Ishmael Fassi takes the lead away from Istvan Pukki yet again on lap 13 and 22. Obviously, along with Istvan Pukki, Stogo Hardy on a set of mediums. He's having a good recovery in this race so far. Started near the back after being eliminated in the first part of qualifying side P16. He's now in the top 5, so we'll see if this longer strategy on these mediums can help him towards some points here in this race. Further back, we can see Tamas Gal looking for a move ahead of Kian Gondal. Can't find his way through. I think Kian actually got past Tamas Gal on the last lap. Now, the next one for Tamas to be overtaken by is Jarno Otmir, gaining in towards Bruxelles at turn number 8. Can't find a move there. Otis Lawrence also in touch with the Flying Dutchman. This could be a brilliant battle between these three as this race evolves. It seems like Tamas Gal starting to struggle. He's losing time to King Gund up there in P10. So I don't think it'll be long before Jarno and Otis Lawrence take their chance to make a move for P11.
Jarno Otmir is so much more confident on the brakes, and that is the difference that 2 laps makes on these tyres. So Tamas Gal and Ben Shabakoni very much going to struggle at this point in the race to keep the likes of Jarno Otmir, Otis Lawrence, Jack West in behind. The good news is Jack West is about 3 seconds to the rear of Otis Lawrence, but that shouldn't clear the fear that is stricken into the heart of Tamas Gal by Jarno Otmir as he pulls to the inside line, side by side in towards Blanchimont. Little bit of contact. Jarno Otmir almost pushed onto the grass. In comes Otis Lawrence, forcing off Tamas Gal in towards the braking zone of the bus stop. They're going to run side by side. Tamas Gal not giving this one up whatsoever. Otis Lawrence with the inside line for the next part of the chicane, and he is going to eventually make that move stick. A very scrappy run through Blanchimont. It started with Jarno Otmir being forced almost onto the grass. Then Otis Lawrence decided to charge on through, and Tamas Gal, I think, got a taste of his own medicine being forced off of the circuit by the McLaren Shadow driver. But Nathan, that is what we like to call in the trade hard racing there, and it has ended up with Jarno Otmir and Otis Lawrence making their way through on Tamas Gal.
Indeed, isn't it? Kian Gondal looking to make a move to make it into provisional P2 here in this race. You also got Jarno Otmir looking to gain in on Ben Sabakonyi as well. These two have gone to battle in the Ironman League multiple times, and here in WRT want to be on. I know back ahead of Ben Sabakonyi. He's up into that net P3. Obviously, was running at the lead with Declan Barrett earlier on, also with Kian Gondal up until he got dropped by the train. So we'll see. Can Jarno take victory here tonight? Otis Lawrence following Jarno through. He's also a big bet for winning here in this race tonight. He's going to start to gain in on Jarno as soon as possible. Further back, we can see more people have been to the pits. Istvan Pukki and Tygo Hardy onto a set of soft tyres, and that makes me think that should be what Ishmael Fassi, Jake Benham and that Philip Pejner should be doing. They should be going onto a set of soft tyres, because there'd be no point going out this long as Andrei Tabukin now gets a 3-second penalty. But all this race, Danny, it's far from over. I cannot wait. Anyone here can win this race at this point. Absolutely anyone.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Istvan Pukki, Tycho Hardy, all of those drivers that we're going to see potentially go onto the set of the soft compound tyres to finish off this race, because the lead train at the minute, if you're counting the lead from Declan Barrett downwards, is all one big DRS train. Istvan Pukki already picking off his first victim in Duncan Hoffman. Now he'll be on the back of Tom Manley and Shanika Clay. These are 2 drivers that he was fighting with throughout the entirety of this Grand Prix, and now that he has the advantage in the tyres, he should be able to breeze on by as more pit stops come out. All of the leaders into the box for a set of the softs. We'll see where Ishmael Fassi as well emerges. It's going to be a very exciting end to this race, and Declan Barrett now takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix ahead of Kian Gondop, Jarno Otmir in third, and then Otis Lawrence, the last of this leading 4 train. He is at the rear. So the McLaren's having a fantastic race here this evening. Further back behind, more moves being made. Here comes Kian Gondop on the rear of Declan Barrett, and Jarno Otmir looking for an iron as well. Lap 15 of 22. We're coming towards the evening period of this Grand Prix. Let us know in the live chat what strategy you think will be taking victory. So far, seems like the soft mediums have the best chance.
Definitely, indeed. We can see a lot of people also vote for the medium soft as well. That'll obviously be what Isvan Pukki and Tygo Hardy did going into this race. But further ahead, we can see Jan Halliday looking for a move ahead. Tomasz Gad, this is Jan's first appearance here in WRT. One he's showing good performance so far here in this race. Currently ahead of his teammate, Thomas Ronhart, who's on that one lap newer tyre, but he's a little bit further back. And Jan Halliday, what a move there in towards the Lafanya chicane, also known as the Piff Paff chicane. Makes a move for P5. Absolutely brilliant stuff there from the Alfa Romeo. Further back, we can see Ronhart looking to gain in and get past Tomasz Gad. 4 lap. He's separating those two on the tyre, so it should be an easy move there for Ronhart to get himself ahead of Tomasz Gad as they head through in towards Blanchimont. Does he choose the inside? Does he choose the outside line? He goes to the outside line, trying to set the move up in towards the chicane, but also we can see Gal gaining in on Jan Halliday, pushing there from down in towards chicane. Who's going to make the move? Who will be ahead? It will be Jan ahead of Ronhart, ahead of Gal. Also, we've got Jack West getting involved. Bit of contact through. We've got Jack West to the inside line. Can he get himself ahead of Tomasz Gad? Yes, he can. Back down towards Tower now. We've also got Shanaka Clay getting involved. He was on Polo on. He's in P, looking to make a move ahead of the AlphaTauri. To the inside he goes, and Tomasz Gad's being absolutely eaten up by the field, isn't he, here, Dan? There's also got Tygo Hardy retiring in the pits.
That's an interesting one there, considering Tycho Hardy was in a decent position. In comes Isvan Pukki arriving onto the scene, looking to overtake his fellow countryman further up the order. Thomas Ronhart making the move on Jan Halliday, but we have to look and see what Isvan Pukki can do. Kian Godnop, meanwhile, going for the lead of this race. You do not know where to look at all in this Grand Prix. Yellow flags in Sector 1 for the stricken Ferrari. Meanwhile, his teammate of Isvan Pukki all over the rear of Tomasz Gad in towards turn at number 8, down the inside, gets himself up into 9th position. 2 laps on these soft compound tyres. He is going to be in prime form at the minute to go on the attack of all of the medium runners ahead who have more worn out tyres, and they've also been doing lots and lots of battling. This is one big DRS train from first all the way down into 14th position. We're still waiting for the likes of Ismail Fassi to get his way into this train and try and make some moves at the end of this Grand Prix, but Isvan Pukki, he's got to be one of the quickest drivers on this circuit, all over the rear of Shanaka Clay, who's looking to go on the attack of Jack West.
As we can see as well, Ronhart looking to make a move into P, forces on the crawl. Everyone making moves further down the field as well. We've got Shanaka Clay trying to get through, and Jack West. Ronhart ahead of Otis Lawrence down towards the chicane as well. We've got Tomasz Gad fight with Duncan Hoffman. We've got Ishmael Fassi fight with Benjamin Conye, all into the same part of the circuit. Brilliant battling here from all the drivers. Further back, we can see Jack West fighting with his Van Pukki. He's into P7A, gets a better run, gets the DRS down towards turn 1. Can he keep it? The move stick ahead of the Haas. He has to set the outside line, shouldn't have better grip ahead of Jack West. Jack sends it to the inside, bit of contact, bit of a push there. Isvan goes wide. Jack's got the position back into P7. They head back up the hill down towards Eau Rouge, and now Isvan Pukki's going to make the move in towards Eau Rouge. Jack backs off, the make contact again, and this time Isvan gets the position ahead of Jack West. He's like, you attack me, I'll attack you. Back further back, we've got Shanaka Clay looking for a move. King Gondel's dropped down to third, and John Uppbeat looking to take the lead ahead of Declan Barrett. Oh my goodness, Dan, there's battling absolutely everywhere. You don't know who to keep your eyes on at this point.
Oh my word, sensational. Oh, Jack West sent into a spin down at Lake Common with all that battling. That was inevitable. Jack West, unfortunately, catching the short end of the stick there. Very unfortunate that his race comes to an end. He'll still remain on circuit, but he's got no chance of scoring any points in this Grand Prix. We missed an overtake from Thomas Ronhart on Otis Lawrence, who out of the medium runners in this train has the very freshest tyres. Meanwhile, further back behind, Ishmael Fassi's off screen at the minute, but he's found his way in to the train and is now going on the attack. It's Van Pukki getting through on Jan Halliday, now looking to make Otis Lawrence his next victim in this Grand Prix. You do not know who is going to come out on top in this one, because with every lap that passes on by, Isvan Pukki is going to be losing speed. Here comes Thomas Ronhart on the attack, 3 lap fresher tyres than Kian Godnop, and he'll make his way onto the podium with Otis Lawrence arriving onto the scene as well. 3 wide almost in through Blanchimont corner. Here they go in towards now the bus stop chicane. Will Otis Lawrence send it down the inside of 2 of them? He'll look to the inside of the Williams car. Thomas Ronhart boxing him in off the exit now, the bus stop chicane. In comes Isvan Pukki, now opening up the DRS and heading down in towards turn 1. We're riding on board with the Ferrari driver, who will back off to allow for these two to duel in towards turn 1. Kian Godnop and Otis Lawrence still side by side off the exit of turn 1. Yellow flags for Jack West West retiring in the pit lane. It's Van Pookie. You gotta think he's gonna try and get the run with no ERS whatsoever. He has to go on the attack soon because those medium tires will not, those soft tires will not last forever. As here comes Otis Lawrence once again on the attack. Jan Ortmeier going for the lead as well. So much action. 5 drivers battling into one corner, and Thomas Ronhaar into second.
Absolutely brilliant. There we can see Golden Dort fighting with Otis Lawrence. Further back, we've got Isvan Pukul through with 3-1 in towards Bush. They go into his front up the inside contact they make. And then that can allow Jan Herde to try and stick his nose through. They go with 3-1 in towards No Name. Jan Herde into B5 contact, hitting the wall. For many people coming through, I think Ismail Fazi also got sent to the wall. He's into P11 and look at them all fighting through and towards Buon. That's Ismail Fazi. I think he's got damage on the car. He's gone wide. Ismail Fazi. Oh, goodness, what it could have been for him in this race without strategy. That is it, all done and dusted. Further ahead, we can see Ronhaar and Uppbeat, 2 rivals looking to Basel here for possibly the victory here in this race. But it's not over because it's Van Pookie. He's also looking to make moves ahead in his field. I think Declan Barrett might be under a bit of issues now as his tyres are very old compared to those ahead and those behind, but absolutely magnificent so far. Further back, we can see Hoffman defending from Shanaka Clay, also defending from Reese, who's unfortunately got a penalty in all of this battle as they head down towards the chicane. Who's going to make moves? They're all looking for moves, all sending up the inside. Goes Reese Linton on Shanaka Clay. Can he make the move done? No, he can't. He sits back for now, but Duncan Hoffman's gone deep. That allows Shanaka Clay to make a run for P9.
Fantastic scenes that we are seeing here in Tier 1. We've still got 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix, still battling in through turn number 1. Duncan Offland is not having any of it. Ismail Fassi, what a race it could have been for him, but it's come undone with contactors side by side between Shanaka Clay and Duncan Offland. Shanaka has to cut the second part of Radion there, and they're still wheel to wheel heading down the Camel Straight. What about Thomas Ronhaar at the front of the order, making his intentions clear? He does not want to attack for the time being, allowing for Jan Ortmeier to remain in the lead. Let's have a look at the ERS situations. Jan Ortmeier 86%, Thomas Ronhaar 66, Declan Barrett very low on the battery with 25, even lower for Isvan Pookie, who's down the inside through Ravage. Brilliant move from Isvan Pookie there to get himself up into third, and now there's 2 more drivers.
That's Shanaka Clay. I pulsed it around. He had a bit of contact there. Sorry to cut you off down there at No Name with Duncan Hoffman. He drops down to P17. Big shame for him. What a shame. He had a bit of contact. He went around the outside and unfortunately got clipped by the Aston Martin. Andre Toberkin yet again with another penalty.
Oh my word. Wow. I kind of hope things are beginning to calm down now, and then we can set things up for the final lap of this Grand Prix. You know, everyone just chill out for a minute. I mean, there's still a few more laps in this Grand Prix, and that is the reason that the likes of Shanaka Clay, Ishmael Fassi, Jack West, they've all had their races completely come undone. Here comes Thomas Ronhaar on the back of Jan Ortmeier in towards the bus stop chicane, closing to the rear of his fellow countryman, and in towards the braking zone they go. Defends the inside from Isvan Pookie, who is still on the attack here. Lap number 20 of 22. We have 3 to go in this Grand Prix, and we still don't know who has got the advantage. Thomas Ronhaar has the freshest medium tyres in this battle. Isvan Pookie still on the soft, but at this point they're beginning to die out, and Jan Ortmeier has the track position and the most ERS in this fight, so everyone has their advantages and drawbacks at this point in the Grand Prix. Declan Barrett still following along as well. You don't know where to look.
Now, when you can see Declan looking to gain, need to make a move ahead of this one. Pookie's going to gain. Is it enough to pull to the inside and make the move? No, it sits back just for now. Further back, we can also see as well Jake Benham into P13. He's on the best tyres, but I think he's a little bit too late for him to try and make a move in this race to get some decent points. Remember, he's not in P20. He's now in the top 13. He's on 5 lap old tyres, but he's still got a lot of work to do to make some points in this race. And we can see Pookie just pushing Ronhaar through as they head down in towards No Name Corner yet again for the 20th time in this race. Further back, Jan Halliday, a perfect race from him so far for his first race in WR Tier 1. We'll see what he can do. Can he make any advantage of anything going on in this race? Keen Gondorp, he's down to P6. He's also looking to try and get a good result. He's in the top 6 now. Would be good for him to get some points in his first race, but also brilliant for his son. Pookie scored no points, has had 4 DNFs this season here tonight, looking for a podium. Could even be a victory if he can play his cards right in these next 2 laps.
Very interesting narratives that we are seeing here. Jan Ortmeier looking to take his 2nd consecutive victory of the season. Thomas Ronhaar without a podium so far this season, robbed of it last time out due to a penalty with a contact with a collision with Philip Presnader, giving him a penalty. And it's Van Pookie looking to score his first point of this season in sensational style by winning the Belgian Grand Prix. 2 to go, this time by Jarno Opmeer, still leading with 89% in the battery. Thomas Ronhaar though 100% give or take. He's now 100% off the exit of turn number 1, and this is where he's going to try and deploy some of the battery. He's on the back of Jarno Opmeer, heading up the hill and in towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the penultimate time in this Grand Prix. Thomas Ronhaar, will he go for the move this time by, or will he save it for the Grand Slam finish in the final lap of this race? And I believe it is going to be the latter in that situation. Further back behind, Declan Barrett gets close, but it's not quite close enough. And so, Nathan, we have set ourselves up for one hell of a finish on lap number 22.
Indeed, it could be Jarno, it could be Thomas, it could be Istvan, Declan Reeve and Jan Halliday taking the victory here. So like everyone in a perfect position to try and make advantage of all these different situations. But I think the main three will be, the top three at the moment will be Jarno, Thomas, Istvan looking to take victory here tonight. Thomas and Jarno, they've been in contact before, they've been in multiple battles before. And here tonight we'll see who will take victory. Will it be either of us, or will it be anyone behind? Further back, we can see Jake Benjamin to pit off. He's looking to move up into that top 10 if he can. Kai Pearson also decent job. He's in the top 10 just behind Duncan Hoffland in this race, but Otis Lawrence as well. Big shame for him. He's dropped down to P7 at one point. We're thinking he could be involved with battle for the victory, but everything's unfolded for him. Unfortunately, Otis Lawrence also gets penalty along with Keane Gondal. They must have made contact somewhere, which could bring Benham and Philip back into woods, but back down towards Botcham for one last time. Surely then the next lap it'll be Ronhaar versus Jarno down that Kemmel straight. Full battery. This could be hectic.
Here we go for the final time in this race. They will cross the start-finish line to begin lap number 22 of 22. It is now or never for Thomas Ronhaar, who has a full battery. He's deploying it to close to the back of Jarno Opmeer, who's going to do everything he can to defend from his fellow countrymen. The two Dutch drivers looking to do battle. It's a civil war on the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Jarno Opmeer with a 3/10 advantage ahead of Thomas Ronhaar, heading up the hill for the final time in this race. This is the moment for Thomas Ronhaar to go on the attack as he'll close to the rear, following the wheel tracks, then dart to the inside line on the back of Jarno Opmeer to take the lead, heading in towards the Lecom chicane for the final time in this Grand Prix. But Jarno Opmeer will not give up here. He's still got 37% in the battery. Thomas Ronhaar though with 60%. Is that the battle done and dusted? Jarno Opmeer really can't go back on the attack. Thomas Ronhaar might have sealed the deal.
He might have done it. It's all down to what Jarno can do down towards Boncham. And that's the last chance he's got any way of making a move in this race to get himself ahead of Thomas Ronhaar. He's got to kind of concede his battery through this part of the section. If he wants to have enough to try and fight down, you can see he's burning some now to get a good run towards chicane. Kai Pearson with the penalty in this race, that'll drop him outside of the points even further back. We could see earlier on that with Jan Halliday looking to make a move on Declan Barrett. Couldn't make a move work. But look at this gap between Thomas and Jarno. Thomas has been dispatched. He's got an 8/10 gap, 9/10 gap as they come through out of Curd to pull Fred down towards Boncham. I don't think there's anything that Jarno can do here, Dan.
No, it doesn't look like it. Thomas Ronhaar yet to score a podium in this season. He's finished third here before in season 14, but he's going to capture the gold in season 16. 18th in the points, no longer for Thomas Ronhaar. It's going to be a big haul of 25 as he comes across the line. He will take the win here in Belgium. Jarno Opmeer will take second. It's not quite the win, but with it will capture the championship lead ahead of Ismail Fassi, who doesn't finish in this Grand Prix, and it is Istvan Pukki holding to his soft tyres to the very end with a fantastic strategy to put himself into third position. Three drivers, three of the on the podium, all of them very, very deserving of taking that there.
What a race that was between all those guys. It was a brilliant race indeed, and a bit of contacts, but all in all, it was a brilliant race. And we can see Alfa Romeo had a brilliant race, didn't they, with Thomas finishing in first, and Jan Halliday, after starting 13th on his first appearance, up into the top four. That's definitely good for him. But Dan, this was, I think it's hard to call driver of the day because everyone did a perfect job, or pretty much everyone did a perfect job here tonight.
Absolutely, and I'm still seeing Thomas Ronhaar not getting the credit that he deserves in the live chat. What more do you want from him? Winning in esports, and now winning on LAN, by the way, and now winning here tonight. I didn't know DRS was a cheat, or ERS was a cheat, but apparently it is. So, you know what? Discredit the whole race. Jarno Opmeer, well done. Of course, I'm only joking. But Thomas Ronhaar, very much deserving of this victory ahead of Jarno Opmeer. The pair of them worked very well to gain positions in this Grand Prix. From 10th on the grid, Thomas Ronhaar captures his first victory of the season. Jarno Opmeer from 6th on the grid in towards 2nd. It was a fantastic job from Jarno, who was at the front for so long in this race. So really well done to Jarno Opmeer there. And then Istvan Pukki rounding out the podium from starting 9th on the grid. How about that? No one in the top 5 who qualified in that position started... apologies. Declan Barrett ended up in 5th. But aside from Declan Barrett, everyone that started in the top 5 was either DNF'd or out of the points. That is insane. Otis Lawrence, a disappointing day for him. Tamas Gal from 2nd down into 12th. Shanika Clay, DNF as well. And then Ishmael Fassi, your championship leader, out of this race. You can see the rest of the results on your screen. Jan Halliday in 4th. 5th, Declan Barrett 6th. Tom Manley 7th. Duncan Hoffland 8th. Jake Benham 9th. Philip Presneder, King Gondorp rounding out the top 10 and will take the last points paying position. Otis Lawrence 11th. 12th, Tamas Gal. Kai Pearson and Reese Linton 13th, 14th, Ben Shabakoni, Andre Tarabukin, and then DNFing out of this race was Shanika Clay, Ishmael Fassi, Jack West, and Andre Tarabukin. Now, Nathan, I'm a bit worried to look at the live chat because I feel like I might have ruffled a few feathers.
You definitely have, but I can't blame for that because, yeah, you can't please everyone, can you, Dan, at all? You wins in LAN. Oh, he's brilliant. He wins when he's here. Oh, it's, he's cheating, whatever. No, stop it, guys. We all know that's not the case, but I think people just don't like to admit that Ron Hart's probably the best in the game right now, is he? So, I think, yeah, it was a brilliant race, and everyone involved, they all did a great job. And considering we had battles going 3-4 wide, it was minimal in terms of damage and contact, which is something we love to see. The driver standards in this tier have improved dramatically since the start of the game. We can think back to a few instances that happened earlier on in the game. Now they're pretty much gone, and yeah, Qatar being one of them, yes. And I think if we discredit Canada at PSG, I think the driving standards has improved heavily in this game, which I think is blitz, and it makes it more enjoyable for us, doesn't it, Dan?
Canada was all right, to be completely honest. It was aside from that one incident. You know what? It doesn't matter. I mean, we've been treated to a fantastic race here in Belgium. Although it did come to a head a few times, which was very unfortunate. Jack West, Shanika Clay, Ishmael Fassi, all of them being caught up in their own individual incidences. I think some people do need to sort of take a step back, maybe, when it comes to the race and be a bit more cerebral about things. Think about what you're doing. It's 5, 6, 7 laps from the end. Oh, dear, we've got someone already in the interview room. I'll bring us over to the interview screen. It is none other than our race winner, Thomas Ronhaar. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Dan. Hello.
Hello, and first and foremost, really well done on your victory today, but it was a rocky start for you. 10th in qualifying, it was in validation. What went wrong there?
Yeah, so the first lap did not go as planned, instantly validated when I entered sector 2. Oh no, actually no, turn 1 exit I validated, so that wasn't great. And then unfortunately the last lap I also invalidated, made a mistake, but it was still enough for P3 even if I did complete the lap, so that was unfortunate. But I knew my pace was good as always there on Spa, so I had to be smart in the race because there was going to be a lot of chaos, and I think it's fair to say it did. A lot of chaos in the front of the field and at the back as well. So it was quite fun to find myself throughout the field, and very happy to take the win at the end.
Yeah, now with that win, of course, that is your first podium of the season. Are we possibly going to see a late title resurgence from you?
That's gonna be a bit of a stretch, but I'm gonna try my best to get as close as I can. I think I've missed 4 races, so gonna be tough. But you never know what's gonna happen in the championship. I don't know how long the championship is still on for, but gonna try my best to get as close to the top as possible. It's not the top, but that's gonna be an impossible task.
Well, heading into Austria next time out, it is, of course, the venue that you took victory. I don't think you won that race, but you took your first PC title, of course, back in season 14. Are you going to look to run it back then and try once again to take victory? And are you confident you can do that?
Certainly. I think Austria has been a very successful track for me. First win in esports. I think I won it in PSGL and WL as well multiple times, so it's definitely a good one for me. Like I said, Spa has been chaotic, but Austria will be, next level in terms of swapping around DRS is going to be free wide most of the times probably. Looking forward to it, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, well, really well done. That's all the questions that I have. Nathan, anything from you?
No questions, no, but just congratulations, Ron, on the win. Well done.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you to Thomas Ronhar for joining us in the interview room, still doing his best work to silence everyone that he comes across. Really well done once again for taking victory, Thomas Ronhar.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Thomas Ronhar for joining us in the interview room. As whoops, I've just I've turned off my camera. It's all going a bit wrong here. There we go. Hopefully there was nothing that we could see in the tier 1 chat, as now my camera's all glitching out. Don't know what's happening here. There we go. Little bit of technical difficulties. Bear with me, Nathan. It's been a while since I've streamed.
Yeah, well, I think we're back now, aren't we?
Yeah, we're okay now.
Yeah, okay, all good. But yeah, I think that race was absolutely brilliant. I'd say definitely race of the season so far, in my eyes. I think, we've still got a very good next few races coming up. And yes, I looked at the street at the perfect time. Dad, you leaked quite a little bit out of that tier 1 chat.
Did I?
So, I'm sure we'll see some screenshots on Twitter later on.
My bad.
Well done, Dan, for causing an uproar on Twitter.
Oh, it's fine. No one even listens at this point. No. Do apologize, everyone. I'll just have a quick look. Yeah, whoops. Okay.
Oh, dear me.
Do apologize, everyone there. But you know what? We're gonna run with it, and we'll just continue along. I'm quickly gonna bring us back over to the interview screen, not to leak any more chats, just to have a little look and see whether or not there's anyone there. But no, lo and behold, we're just by ourselves in the commentary box, Nathan. So I think now is a good point for us to leave off here this evening. Next week, of course, is Austria. Fantastic circuit. Should make some very good racing.
Yeah, racing's always brilliant there, isn't it? Austria's one of those circuits where you can pretty much side by side for every corner, maybe apart from the last two in the first corner. Apart from that, you can go side by side everywhere. So I think the action there will be brilliant as usual. So the track being quite short means qualifying will be absolute. I could see probably the top 10 being separated by a tenth. The gaps there are always really minuscule. So I think either way, next week is going to be brilliant, and it's time for Ishmael has to get a bit more resurgence to get himself back into that final, because now he's going to be I think about 10-ish points back from Jarno, which is not good at all, considering he was leading the championship all the way up until now. He's definitely got some work to do next week.
Yeah, difficult day for I think it's going to be about like 12 points, if I'm not mistaken, because he's 6 points ahead now. Jarno Opme scores 18, so yeah, 12 points is the deficit that Ismail Fassi has to make up. He's struggled in recent weeks to keep up with the Flying Dutchman, looking to make his 3rd title here in WOR. He made history last season by becoming the first repeat PC Tier 1 champion. We'll see if he's able to increase that incredible margin that he has by going for a 3rd. And I can actually just see in the bottom corner of my screen the little Steam notifications. Jarno Opme has just come off 2nd position here in WOR, and instantly, as soon as he closes the game, he's on Power World. So fair play, Jarno Opme. You know, I've not. I've seen it. I've seen my friends play it, but I've not played it myself. So yeah, I think that is a good point to close off. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in once again to a fantastic WOR race. We'll see you next time out in Austria. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Twitter. It is at WOR League. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and like this stream. And if you want to keep up to date with all your WOR news, you can check the Discord. The link will be in the description. If you want to follow myself on Twitter, it is at DanFieldF1_. And if you want to follow Nathan, it is Richie F1 with the I's replaced by the ones. Thank you, everyone, once again so much for tuning in this evening. We'll see you next time out in Austria. Thank you and good night.
It is the home of sim racing leagues. Our management tools allow you to recruit drivers and monitor their ratings and live split. Find this and more at GridFinder.com. Sign up for free today.